get some matchups, get some breakdowns from Craig. We will play some sports or leisure later on in the 1 o'clock hour, presented by Johnny's Tavern. And we will talk with different players coming up a half hour from now. No idea who we're going to talk to, what we're going to talk about, and how they're going to be on the phone. But I am pumped and ready and excited to see whatever will take place and what will take place about a half hour from now. But right now, Andy Reid is at the podium. Let's immediately go out there to Andy Reid in his press conference.
Thursday for us practice-wise, and we're kind of cranking this thing down. Once you get to Thursday, that game's in sight there. So we get through today, that'll be good. Anyways, with that, time's yours.
Coach Neil Reynolds from Sky Sports in the UK.
Yes.
I've got a question about a very specific part of Sunday. When the players run out of the tunnel for the biggest game of their lives, there's suddenly 20 minutes until kickoff. Do you leave them to themselves? Do you prepare them for that? How do you manage that situation, and does experience help?
Experience does help, but we cover that, yes. We ask them to get off their feet, kind of pump the brakes a little bit, and relax so they don't use all their energy during that time. And then with 5 minutes left, to get back up and get moving. So, yeah, we have a game plan for that. Doesn't always work because the guys' juices are going, but that's what we try to do. Yep.
Andy, over here.
All right, Adam.
Morning. In a situation like this, what things do you look at to tell you your team is ready, or in the other case, maybe not ready? What kind of things do you look at to gauge that?
Yeah, so you can tell we've been around these guys for how many ever months here, and you get a pretty good sense on the energy level at practice, in meetings, the attention in meetings, the accuracy of running the actual play. And I'd probably say those are the primary ingredients. And it doesn't, success and failure in a game doesn't always depend on whether I think they're ready or not ready. There have been times when I go on, the biorhythms look a little down and they go play like crazy. So, but normally that's, if they're focused in with those things I gave you there, then normally they're ready to go.
Coach, right here.
Hey, Andy, Ricardo Lopez from Mundo NFL. What do you think about your legacy as a play caller? I mean, you developed Patrick Mahomes, you helped to turn Travis Kelce into the best tight end probably in the history, and you create a perfect offensive machine. What do you think about your legacy?
Yeah, listen, I've been blessed in my career to have a lot of great players, and so they make your plays look good. They execute. As far as the legacy goes, I don't really think about that. We're so tied up into the game and getting ready for the game that's where all your energy goes. And the neat thing about football is very humbling. So, within a game, you're going to have these highs and lows. What you think is a great play might not end up being a great play. So the game can pick you up and it can slap you in the face at the same time. It's a very humbling game that way.
Andy, to your right. Sorry if you've been asked this week, but obviously with last year's game, the field was very slick for both teams. Can you just talk about any preparations you guys have made for that this year, just in case? Have you talked about it with the guys?
Yeah. Well, we all saw the field when we drove over to the stadium the other night. So they've got the field outside, getting ready, and they'll get it wheeled back inside. From what I gather, it's in great condition. I think last year's was a fluke, but our equipment guy's ready for everything. He brings the whole house with him, so we've got every shoe you can imagine for whatever presents itself there.
Coach, back here at the back.
Yep, gotcha.
I'm sorry to interrupt you talking about the game. That's a big thing, I know. But this weekend they're voting for the Hall of Fame. There's a guy that kind of helped resurrect Chiefs football that we all care about in Kansas City, Marty Schottenheimer. What do you think about whether he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, if I was a voter, I'd vote for him. Big time fan of Marty's. He was a great motivator and great guy, great motivator, very tough but very caring of his players, and obviously had a great mind for football. So those primary ingredients, and he won. So with multiple teams. So it's all the things that supposedly qualify you for the Hall of Fame. I think he has those. Yeah.
Hey, Coach. Looking at when you played the 49ers 4 years ago, where do you think you've developed or changed the most as a head coach?
It hasn't been that long ago, so I don't think much. I think it's the same philosophy, other than the game changes a little bit different every year, so you kind of go along with it and what the league gives you rule-wise and things you can do in training camp. Those change you a bit because of, and most of them have been because of safety purposes and so on. So, but the general philosophies remain the same. Yeah.
Coach Jose Villalba from Millennium Multimedias in Mexico. Two questions. I don't know if any in the Chiefs have thought about this. Super Bowl 58, and when I think number 58, I think of the late great Derek Thomas, sure. And because of what he meant to the Chiefs and Marty Schottenheimer, his coach, that legacy from that. And second, in Philadelphia, you had a great defensive coordinator in the late great Jim Johnson. Now you have Steve Spagnuolo as a defensive coordinator. How has that helped you to create both with the Eagles and now with the Chiefs? And what similarities, difference, but at the same time that has helped you get so many times to big games?
Yeah. I hadn't thought about the 58 with Derek Thomas, but what a great player he was. When I was at Green Bay, we had a chance to come back and play the Chiefs, and I think he set an NFL sack record that day. I remember Don Beebe running a shallow cross, and he hit Don Beebe so hard he landed in the quarterback's lap, and he was a great one. On the other part, Jim Johnson was a great defensive coordinator. Spags had an opportunity to work with him and learn from him. I think some of those things Spags has used as his foundation for the defense that he runs now. But he's obviously added his own things to it, which Jim did with his defense. And but I tell you, the base foundation is Jim Johnson's, and then Spags is so creative that he's just taking it all different directions from there. And both of them are great coaches in their own right, yeah, and have helped the program, yeah.
Hello, Coach. You were born in Los Angeles, you grew up in California, you were also a coach in San Francisco State in the 80s. It is special for you to face the San Francisco 49ers in the Super Bowl, or is it like any other team for you?
Yeah, so I tell you, I have a good friend, Lee Bruno, and we both grew up in Los Angeles, both Ram fans, but he's converted, I didn't. Where are we?
Yeah, here, Coach
Right
Reed,
over here, yeah.
American Football Community Belgium. You're defending champions, but this year you come in as a 3 seed, also as the underdog. Do you feel an underdog, and does that motivate you guys even more?
Yeah, listen, I understand why we're the underdog. I get that. We had some ups and downs during the season. I never feel like an underdog going into a game, but I understand why it's been situated that way, but it's what it is, so.
Andy in the back here, Aaron Ladd, KSH
All right, Aaron.
41.
Yep.
You've been known to have one of these very complex offenses, a big playbook. What's allowed Rashee Rice to hit the ground running and be so successful for you all?
Yeah, I tell you, he's smart. He's used that SMU education and transferred it into and he works hard, and he's got a great relationship with the quarterback. So I think those are important things.
Coach back here, Peyton,
Yep,
10,000
gotcha.
takes. So you've had players that have played in the big game, and you've had players that haven't played in this big game. What's sort of your message to those players who haven't played in the Super Bowl to like help maybe calm some of those nerves that they might have?
Yeah, when you get through all of this stuff here, it's a game, and it's faster than most games. It's crazy how in the playoffs, every game's a little faster the higher you go up in the playoffs. So it's fast, but it's still the game. So you're professionals. You're, arguably 1 out of 32 guys at your position in the whole world. So you go play, and do your job. Yeah.
Hi, Coach. Danilo Celli for La Perrada, Mexico. Momentum shifts were key in both championships. How do you handle a momentum shift coming your way in the sideline? How do you get your players ready when you sense a momentum shift on your side? And on the other side, how will you prevent the 49ers to get these moments that they've clearly gotten on the previous games in this playoff run?
Yeah, there are highs and lows in every game. And so you work your way through those. I'm into not being too high or too low, and then figuring out problems. So communication becomes very big on that. What does the player see? What does the coach see? Get together, talk about it, and then come up with a solution. So if you do that and you do it well enough, then you can even out some of the issues that go on. On that other hand, if you do well, let's not get crazy and get caught up in that. Let's make sure that we come back to that next play, focus in, and get ourselves ready for it.
Hi, Coach. Good morning. Federico
Morning.
Rivera from Dame Bola.
Good seeing you.
Hey, Coach, many people remembers that 13 seconds final drive in the divisional against Buffalo 3 years ago. As a head coach, you practice every play in the situational football, or there are new decisions you have to take in seconds. I mean, you practice, you contemplate every scenario, or in the game plan, or sometimes not.
Yeah, so in training camp, we spent a lot of time on situations. And then just about everyone you can think of that comes up, you touch that during training camp and work on it. And then during the season, you don't have time to do that. So you do hit your 2-minute situations on the field, but then you also try to do it in the classroom and go through the different scenarios that are happening through the league each week, through college football each week. Joe Blameyer does a phenomenal job with that on our staff. And so it gives us an idea mentally where obviously you can't do it all physically, but you can surely get the mental reps in there for the game. Yeah, there are decisions that have to be made and very quickly at times. Yeah, but hopefully we have that answer and have looked at it somewhere over the last few months. Yeah.
Hey, Coach, Jim Alexander here. You've done this for a long time. You've been to many of these Super Bowls. If you win this Sunday, what are the likelihood that you might consider hanging up and kind of going out on top, or are you set already that you will be back next year?
Yeah, I haven't gone there. I don't think about that. I'm tied up in the game and trying to take care of that. I'm sure somewhere I'll know when that time is. It's not today or won't be Sunday, so yeah.
Yeah, Andy, you mentioned the up and downs. The players really point to your consistent and steady approach during those moments. Is that something that's always come natural to you? Was there a time where it was different? Do you have moments to yourself where it's different? Just wonder if you could talk about that trait a little bit.
Yeah, I think you try to cover all the situations so that you can, or as many as you can. And the ones you don't cover, hopefully you've narrowed it down to where it fits somewhere in there, or at least as close to something that you've thought about. And then you can remain calm and knock it out and get the results you want. But I would say I've tried to be that way. I haven't changed. Maybe when I had more red hair, or any red hair, I had more of a temper, but in this world, I just try to get it done. And I think if I'm going crazy, everybody's going to be going crazy, and then now that fits into that chaos category, and that's not good.
Coach, what has Porter Ellett meant to your coaching staff, and how have you seen him grow as a coach?
Yeah, that's my left-hand man. So he does a great job. He's worked in. He started off as my administrative assistant, and now he's working with the running backs, and he's brilliant. First of all, very, very intelligent. Got a great feel for the game. And he's got a great way with the players. The players, they love him, and he does have one arm. So I have a brother that has one arm. So he taught my brother how to tie his shoe with one hand. I mean, it's an amazing deal, but it just shows you that when people can do whatever they want to do. I mean, he does a heck of a job with our guys.
The last question right here.
Hi, Coach. Claire Overton, WEBM Boston. Your first Super Bowl appearance was with the Eagles in 2004. How has your process approaching the Super Bowl changed throughout the years?
Yeah, I don't think it's changed much. I know I was talking to Mike Holmgren the other day, and he was the fellow that I worked for in Green Bay, and he was very detailed. Came from Bill Walsh's staff in San Francisco and those Super Bowls there. So he had a plan for our Super Bowls that we went to, and I've kind of stuck with that. I've kind of hung with that schedule. The league has kind of remained the same, so it's allowed me to do that. But it's very similar to what I was taught and been able to use. Is there a tweak here or there? Yeah, but not far off. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Okay, good. Thanks.
All right, there's Andy Reid as we get things rolling here on this Thursday edition. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, and then we will head back out to Vegas and see whichever players we'll be talking to on the phone as we will just go from table to table. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We continue rolling. More Zone right after this. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Josh Brisco, Dylan Michaels. We continue rolling along as our coverage out at the Super Bowl and Radio Row, all of the stuff going on, Deep Pasquale, more injury attorneys, car wreck, get the money you deserve. Mike's got this. And Hollywood Casino, the all-new sports book at Hollywood Casino at Kansas Speedway is now open, remodeled with an all-new bar, ticker tape, leather sofas, and armchairs, so much more. The big game is coming up on Sunday. So there you go. It's also brought to you by
Greenlight Dispensary, Jason. Check out their amazing February flower power deals at greenlightdispensary.com and the Low T Center. Do you know your numbers? Go to lowtcenter.com to get your levels checked. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
We are going to check back in with Vegas and see who we will be talking to. You know, Chad Boger is walking around with a phone, and he's walking to table to see who's sitting there, and he will just hand him the phone, and we'll find out on the fly who we're talking to. I'm pumped. I'm ready for this. I cannot wait. This is exciting for me. This is because I don't know who we're going to talk to, what we're going to talk about, and what they're going to say. It might be fun, like the Trey Smith interview that the guys had. It might be amazing, like Nate Bukaty and Kadarius Toney that they had for 35 seconds, where I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. No, I'm good. All right, Kadarius, sorry you couldn't join us today.
I missed that one live, but it sounds like it won't take too much of my day to listen to the podcast of it.
We could play it right. We could play it when Chad goes from table to table.
As a rejoin between each of them.
When we finish up with a player and Chad takes the phone back, we could play the entirety of the Boys in the Morning and Kadarius Toney conversation by the time he gets to somebody else to just hand him the phone. Part of it might even be like, all right, let's have a quiz. And let's find out who we're talking to.
That's what I was going to suggest.
20 questions. All right. Where did you go to college?
This year, you just push it a whole other level, and you do sort of like the Guess Who like questions of, all right, well, is your favorite food a type of smoked meat? And you have to really shimmy it down. I'm thinking about offensive linemen. I don't know.
There is a part of me that kind of wants him just to hand it to a player, and then we have to guess who it is.
Yeah, I think.
Like what, and sort of like, what college did you go to? Okay, what year were you drafted?
I mean, some of it we try to get by the voice. I think both of those are just too much information right out of the gate.
Really?
I think we have to get more vague originally.
Yeah, but I don't want to spend the whole time that we have with them trying to guess who it is.
If you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be?
Yeah, I don't know, a tree. Or, who was asked yesterday or the day before about would he rather, it was Mike Dana. Mike Dana was asked, would you rather have feet for hands or hands for feet?
Perfect. Great question.
He answered incorrectly.
Oh, no.
He said he would rather have feet for hands.
Horrible answer.
That's dumb.
Horrible answer.
You can walk on your hands.
Yeah.
But without your hands, like you're grabbing things with your toes and everything, your feet. The obvious answer is hands for feet.
Even if you thought it wasn't very sustainable to walk on your hand feet for a long period of time,
right.
Wheelchairs and stuff. There's lots of technology there. You get to keep 100%. Your hands though.
Yeah, the opposable thumbs when they're just all five facing the same way. Yeah. That's tough to grip some things. You're then walking around like a child as they're holding their sippy cup. Not exactly like gripping it, just holding it on each side.
Mike Dana, maybe his thinking was what's more important to him as a defensive lineman.
Well, I know hands have to be pretty important. I would guess,
think so, but Nick Bolton played, with a cast and stuff. Maybe it's just sort of like you're playing with casts on your hands.
Be odd if he worked at a restaurant. Feet.
That would be bad.
Hands. Yes, chef. Feet. I need feet here. Yes, chef. Corner. But Mike Dana.
When you say like, hey, put your foot on it, it becomes much more literal. Like, oh yeah, sure, we'll do.
Yes.
Like clean one that's attached to my wrist.
Come on. Would it still be stepping on? Like if you're stepping on something, like step on the gas, would I have to reach down then, or do I get to choose between the four?
I think you get to choose between the four. I think the only issue, the further issue is that it risks maybe living your whole life as a dog or something, trying to walk on your hands eventually, which are also not feet.
Yeah, but again, I'd rather it be give me 4 hands instead of 4 feet.
Maybe if you were a snack food, what kind of snack food would you be?
Burn-ins.
That's still fair, and we're still leaning.
Why can't I snack on burn-ins?
You totally can.
Yeah, hopefully the Chiefs, as you said yesterday, will be snacking on burn-ins in this game. It'll be the defensive end.
It'll just be Bosa, just sort of with his head on a swivel, just spinning around.
It'd be fantastic. Yes. Also want to let you know that today, starting at 11 o'clock, at Urban Egg, which is at 119th, located in the Hawthorne Plaza off of Row on 119th Street, southwest corner of 119th and Row. Starting at 11 o'clock today, so you got a half hour. But 11 o'clock today until 1, we will have 81 special edition shirts distributed while supplies last. One per person. You can't pick up 10 for you and your family. You can't pick up 5, go out and start selling them right outside the door.
You can't
of Urban
pick up
Egg.
80 and, for your
That's
whole
right.
family.
That's exactly right. You got a big family. Big family. Yes, it's one per person. And it is at Urban Egg, again, the southwest corner, 119th and Row, Hawthorne Plaza off of Row on 119th Street. That's the location. And Urban Egg, voted best new restaurant in KC by KC Magazine. Local, organic ingredients. They've got the Eggs Benedict selections. They've got gourmet pancake flights. Awesome stuff. That goes on today, 11 to 1. So get out there and try to find that specialty T-shirt. Special edition shirts.
I've only seen the picture so far, which means I don't have one.
Bethany, who's going to be out there, was wearing it.
Was
Looks
she
pretty
really?
awesome.
Pretty jealous.
Looked really cool.
Pretty jealous.
I'm like, oh, so now we have 80 to give away, or
I will go.
I would love for them to only have 79 to give away.
Yeah, I'll go pick up breakfast brunch for us, but it's only one per person. So.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Anybody in sales that might be around there, I don't know. It would be nice if we had some Urban Egg to chew on while we're.
How about
hanging
this?
out here on the air, maybe a flight or two of some gourmet pancakes. That would be terrible if I had that from Urban Egg.
I'll go get that. I'll be back at some point before 2 o'clock, and I'll bring you a shirt. You can have the shirt. I'll have breakfast.
That is.
And the show gets
fine.
to go on without me.
But also,
it's a win-win-win.
Wow, it'd be like the Chiefs and Super Bowls, 3 of them. Win-win-win.
It's just this is a dynasty.
How can we add one more win to that to come up on Sunday to make it 4? 4 wins there.
Maybe to have a mystery guest live from Radio Row.
Yeah. All right, so now we're talking with defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo here in the zone. Steve, how are you, sir?
Doing great. How you guys doing today?
We are doing fantastic. I really appreciate you joining us. What's the latest on the meatballs?
Well, I got a video just yesterday that they were simmering in a pot of pasta sauce, so hopefully they make their way here to Las Vegas.
Are you superstitious at all? Like you have those before the last Super Bowl with San Francisco, and now you're going to do it again?
Yeah, listen, Chris is slapping the old superstition word on there. I'm really not a superstition. He's the guy that he put the guilt trip on myself and my wife to make sure we got him. So we do whatever they want. If they want meatballs, we get them meatballs, whatever it takes.
We're visiting with Steve Spagnuolo. This is the 5th trip for you into one of these things. You know, we were talking about how Patrick Mahomes has started for 6 years, and he's already talking about a Super Bowl week routine that he goes through, which is just amazing to think about. And for yourself, how much, looking back to your first one and now your 5th one, how much does been there, done that factor into for a team and coaches getting ready for this?
Well, I don't think it's. You never take it for granted. Number one, I mean, the first one I went to. This is actually 6 because the first one we went to was with Andy in 2004 as an assistant on his staff when we went to Jacksonville. I remember that Super Bowl because it was chilly in Jacksonville, like it is chilly here in Las Vegas. But I think every time you're blessed to go to one of these, I think you take something away. The biggest thing I think Andy and I always talk about is make sure you stay in the routine. Don't venture too far from what got you here or how you got here in terms of how you work during the week. And I think Andy does a great job with that.
Do you hear some of the things? I know you're focused on the game and everything, but do you hear some of the talk that's going on around the Super Bowl, specifically about you and the conversation that's now taking place about you being in the discussion of maybe the greatest defensive coordinator the NFL has ever had?
Yeah, I don't. I'll be honest with you. I leave that to other people. I am totally focused on the game, and our players are like that too. I mean, we can't ask our guys to put all their focus into the most important thing, which is the game. Keep the main thing, and then not do it ourselves. So, quite frankly, no. I'm just kind of focused on how to stop this offense, which we know is the most explosive in the NFL.
Does your family have the InSpags We Trust T-shirts?
I tried to burn all of those. I don't know if I got to all of them or not, but I'd rather that stuff happen all after the game. I'm going to kind of keep it about the players because they're really the guys that are getting it done. That, and I think the most overlooked position on in our group is our assistant coaches. I think they do as good a job as anybody in the league at getting these guys ready.
Do you offer encouragement for Joe Cullen after the Super Bowl of if there's a job open, or do you lock him up in a room and and take his phone away so you don't allow him to leave?
Nah, listen, one of the things that I've learned in this league, people did it for me when I was younger, trying to so-called climb the ladder. I believe in helping all these guys advance. I mean, Joe's not the only guy on our staff that should be a coordinator. I mean, Dave Merritt, Brendan Daly, there's young guys like Terry Braden, Alex Whittingham that have been with us, and they all certainly deserve it. I think sometimes when you have the success we've had and gone as deep into the playoffs as we've had, it kind of lessens the opportunities for these guys because those jobs they all get kind of scooped up along the way. But I'm hopeful for all of them that someday they'll be able to have that leading role as a coordinator.
Well, I know people around here don't want any of the assistant coaches to leave because of how good the continuity's been and how the development's been there. There's talk about Andy Reid and even Travis Kelce's been brought up. Have you thought about when it might be time for you to step away? And do you see yourself as the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs, moving forward in the future?
Well, I'm certainly not this week. I mean, I think in the off season I leave those kind of thoughts, and you think about it as you get to a certain point. But we're having too much fun right now. The group that I have I cherish. I love being around these guys, and as long as it can continue like that, I'll be a happy man. I'm blessed to be doing what I'm doing.
Steve Spagnuolo's our guest. Last one for you. Looks like Willie Gay is healthy and out there. I know you guys don't have Charles Omenihu, and that's an impact, but Willie Gay being back against some athletic players, dynamic players like the 49ers, what kind of impact is that for you guys?
Yeah, well, you're right on because we need Willie's speed and his explosiveness. I mean, you got the running back that they have and all the wideouts, and that's one thing Willie gives us. He gives us a lot of juice, a lot of energy. We'll miss Charles. I mean, other guys that we tend to forget about. Derek Nottie helped us immensely inside, and we're playing a run game. Brian Cook, we haven't had for a few games, so we'll miss all those guys. Hopefully we can carry the torch for them and try to come up with something successful.
Awesome. Steve Spagnuolo, Chiefs defensive coordinator. Steve, thank you so much. Really appreciate it, and best of luck. Bring back another Lombardi Trophy.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. There's Steve Spagnuolo with the Kansas City Chiefs defensive coordinator, and we'll see where Chad goes next there. The meatballs are simmering right now.
Weird that you want him to retire. That seems pretty messed up. I would ask if he'd like to just never retire, maybe get a lifetime position. Feels reasonable to me.
So I think what may have happened is, Steve Spagnuolo, Chad was going to take the phone and go from table to. I think Steve just hung it up.
Oh, yeah, he was done.
Thanks. Click. Here you go.
Maybe they'll call back.
Let me talk to your father. Yeah. Can you hand the phone to your father? I'd like to talk to him before. Love you.
That's great. I love listening to Spags, man.
I know that we had a limited amount of time there, but I could have spent another 20 minutes with him talking about it. And I really do hope that he locks Joe Cullen in a room and takes his phone away. Kind of like, was it the who was it with the was it DeAndre Jordan?
It was DeAndre Jordan.
DeAndre
in the
Jordan,
Mavs,
in the
right?
Mavs.
Yes.
Kept him from signing and kept him there all night, and they, just played spades and played games and locked the door and turned all the phones off and just stayed there all freaking night. That's what they got to do with Joe Cullen to make sure that he is going to be around for a while. But no, obviously that's not going to take place. They are going to do what they can to help out their assistant coaches to advance up the ladder and things like that. And Steve Spagnuolo, I said 5 Super Bowls for him. I meant as specifically a defensive coordinator. Yeah. He's like, well, actually, this is 6. It's amazing when you can correct somebody that they are underselling your 5th Super Bowl.
It's actually 6. What a time, man.
Well, it's my 6th time being in this game. It's it's very cool.
Awesome, absolute best. I don't know if we know what the flow of things are going to be out there at the scrum of it all. So
we'll find out.
We'll figure it out at some point. But
yeah,
it's chaos out there.
Yeah, and it's awesome. Love it. Love what's going on. And a number of the Chiefs talking yesterday. We'll hear Chiefs talking today. We'll hear Travis Kelce, I believe. He'll be at the podium. Patrick Mahomes, every single day. These guys are at the podium. We'll hear
I wish somebody would ask Travis Kelce about Taylor Swift, though, honestly.
I'll tell you what, man. He is he's putting on a masterclass.
Yeah.
Of how to be asked the same sort of questions every time and not have one time to where he looks annoyed answering anything about his girlfriend, because that one time would then be taken and like, oh, wow, look at Travis. Each time it's smiling, it's deferential, it's about how great she is. So let's see who we maybe have right now. Have somebody right now? Is this, are we talking with Willie Gay here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, Willie, thank you so much for joining us. We were just talking to Steve Spagnuolo, and he talked about your speed and being out there and what kind of impact that is. Do you sort of look at yourself and like, all right, this is another chance to go play, but what you mean to this defense to get out there and go play against a dynamic offense like the 49ers?
To be able to play in this game, man, to be healthy again after missing the AFC Championship. I definitely want to just give my all for my guys, for my coaches. I know Coach Spags, like always, will put me and my teammates in the right position. So, like you say, man, I try to use my best asset, which is my speed, and my strength, and make plays all over the field on Sunday night.
How close were you to playing against Baltimore, and how tough was it to watch your team go out there and try to make sure you guys had one more game to play in your career?
I was really close, man. It probably would have been a repeat of the Buffalo game. I probably would have went out and maybe made it a drive or two and realized my neck was giving on me, but it's 100% healthy now. Thank God for that. I woke up Friday, knew I wasn't going to probably play in that game, and took that game off, but I'm ready now. So thankful to be here. You know what? In that Buffalo game, it was only one drive, but you had that big play on James Cook on the opening drive, which may have took 4 points off the board. Yes, sir, man. I was, one thing about me, I'm just happy when I can make a play for my team, honestly.
Visiting with Willie Gay right now. Did you think swag surfing would be such a big deal after you made the request to the DJ there at Arrowhead Stadium that now it's become sort of like the anthem of this Chiefs run for you guys?
I didn't think it would, but we're going to swag surf our way to the Super Bowl win, and we're going to blow it up even more.
What's it been like seeing, the town, the people around, like swag surfing and sort of jumping on that bandwagon with you guys, and the crowd and Taylor Swift and the people in the suites all swag surfing?
Yeah, man, we put some swag back in Kansas City. That's how I see it. Get the fans off their feet, let them rock a little bit. And when you do that, the energy's there and it's contagious.
Will you send up a request in the middle of the Super Bowl maybe at some point? Hey, can we get some swag surfing going on in this game?
Yeah, well, how about this? When we get up 14, 21 points, third, fourth quarter, I got you.
All right, 21 points in the fourth quarter. I'm writing that down. Swag surfing. It's going to happen.
Yes, sir.
You guys, throughout the year, you guys have talked about that, how good the defense has been, but the turnovers hadn't been coming. You guys are close. You're close to getting those turnovers. You guys have caused 4 turnovers in these 3 games in the playoffs. Is that just a matter of the game's going to happen and you keep doing the same thing, process over results, and the results will be there? Or is there something else going on as to why your defense has got 4 turnovers in the last 3 games?
I mean, of course, you practice those things, but one thing about turnovers is all about capitalizing on the offensive mistakes. And once you do that, you got turnovers, and it helps you win the ball game. But like I say, you got to be there to intercept the pass that's underthrown, overthrown. You got to be there to punch a loose ball out or scoop up a fumble. And like I say, once you do that, now you're winning the turnover battle.
Willie Gay, we're talking with. Do you guys feel like an underdog? Because you're, again, not favored in the game.
No underdog at all, baby. We've been here plenty of times. Come on now.
Is it a little offensive that you guys back again, and it's like, the 49ers are the favorites, and Buffalo's a favorite, and Baltimore's the favorite, the 49ers are the favorite, and it's like, aren't you guys the defending Super Bowl champions?
Hey, man, we the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl champions, team of we America's team, man. That's my opinion. They hate us, but we love them. So we just gonna keep on winning and keep on feeding the haters what they want.
Have you thought about what this would mean to be a part of history, to be a part of a team that would go back to back and win Super Bowls and something so difficult to do?
Oh yeah, it'll be a big deal for sure, man. And to be a part of it, only 4 years in my career, man, that's something you gotta be thankful for. Because, like I said yesterday, you never know when you'll be back in this position.
You know what? Last one for you. It's interesting talking about being hated in your career in 4 years. You've gone from being a part of a team that people were loving and like, oh, this is so fun. Look at the Kansas City Chiefs. This is cool. To now, I'm done with the Chiefs. I hate them. I want them to lose. What's that transition? But you guys were loved and now you're hated.
Yeah, man. You know, it's lonely at the top. You know, when you're on your way to the top, everyone's there with you. But when you finally make it, everybody else falling off. You know, and they want to see your downfall. They want to see you, like I say, I guess your downfall. And once you lose, that's what they want to see. And they hate winners, man. I guess that's the main thing. They hate winners.
Well, it's nice to be hated then, if that's what it takes.
Yeah.
Willie Gay, our guest. Willie, thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck this weekend, and bring back a Lombardi Trophy if you can.
Much. Oh yeah, I got you.
Absolutely. There's Willie Gay requesting the swag surfing in the fourth quarter if they've got that lead. Said he's got you. That swag surfing, we'll request that on the from the DJ there at in Vegas.
Said when they have.
That's a good point. Yeah,
lead.
I shouldn't have said if. I shouldn't have qualified it with a capital I, a capital F. It's when.
I think he said when they get up 14, 21 points.
14 to 21 points. When they're up 14 to 21 points in the fourth quarter, rock that swag surfing. Look, he didn't think it would become the anthem. I did. Let me just say, I may have misread the 50.1 to 49.9% of the Ravens game of a field goal, but immediately after that, you and Mick, it was on a Monday, and I'm like, that's the anthem, man. If they get on a roll, if they start winning here, they're going to be talking about that. It's going to be played all over town, and it's not going to become you got to fight for your right to party like it was with Travis Kelce and becoming the touchdown song now out at Arrowhead Stadium. But it's something they'll be rallying around, and they certainly did that throughout the playoffs, man.
And listen, awesome. He put the swag back in Kansas City. He said also
that's exactly right.
Like maybe it went away briefly. I don't know, but it's been a good communal thing, and I think listen. Jason, you got to take a little credit for it. I mean, you made a whole montage with it.
That's a great point.
I think it's not just that it has become the anthem. I think it's that you decided that you and Willie Gay were going to make it the anthem.
Yeah,
and who's to say whose idea it was first? Who's to say did the most of the heavy lifting in this cause?
Yeah, I mean, we worked together. It was a collaboration. We had a collab. The Grammys were over the weekend. It was
That's
just
right.
Willie Gay and I. It was a Willie Gay joint and collaboration featuring the Zone.
Jason Anderson.
Featuring the Zone. Yeah, it's Willie Gay swag surfing, Chief swag surfing with Willie Gay featuring the Zone.
If they win, you should just do an a cappella version on Monday.
I doubt that'll happen.
You doubt that they'll win?
No, I
doubt
that that'll happen. That I'll
you
do
heard
an
it here
acapella.
first, America.
Shut your ass up. You shut your mouth.
Jason says
You
it's
shut your
unlikely
mouth.
that the Chiefs will win.
It's unlikely that I will ever do an acapella version of swag surfing.
No.
I don't want to be made fun of, that happens enough already.
I was going to say, you're afraid of that?
No.
And this?
Not for that.
Is this thing on?
Not specifically for that. I would like to choose. If I had to choose to not be made fun of, I would choose to not do something that would get me made fun of.
I have had to try to just forget that that's something I have any control over myself personally and just embrace it whenever it happens.
Oh, I embrace the disgrace as well. But, if I can avoid knowing beforehand that it's going to be just getting embarrassed.
Disgraceful, sure. Yeah, I guess that's fair.
I probably wouldn't do that unless it was like I lost a bet or, somebody triple dog double dared me, because then you can't turn it down.
Speaking of surprising scenes, did you see Blaine Gabbert out there today? Out at the area the Chiefs are all at right now?
You meant Mizzou made?
Yeah, he looks really different.
No, that's Creed Humphrey wearing a Blaine Gabbert jersey. Why?
Aaron Ladd has I have no idea. He just tweeted out two of these that Blaine Gabbert looks a little different out there today because Creed Humphrey's wearing his jersey.
Awesome. Let's welcome in Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Big reason why this team is playing in yet another Super Bowl with that huge third down catch. Marquez, welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I am doing just fine. I got to credit you because, the playoffs came and this offense, turned it on and looked great. As you look back and getting ready for this game, what are some of the things that you look at as to why this team was able to stay the course offensively and, feel like the old Chiefs again?
Yeah, I think we just kind of had to stop getting out of our own way, throughout the season, we would, have drops, we would have turnovers, we would have, silly penalties that have, kind of derailed our drives, from being the efficient offense that we've been, in years past. And so once we stopped doing that and getting in our own way, we've been able to, score a lot more points and move the ball a lot more efficiently.
Going into that third down, did you know the ball was coming to you?
Yeah, I had a pretty good idea when I looked up and saw what coverage they were in. He had 3 different places that he can go with the ball, and the coverage that we got, I knew I was going to have a pretty good shot of getting that one.
Yeah, the mic'd up, Patrick Mahomes was mic'd up as going into the third down, going over to the sideline and saying, "Give me the ball. Give me the ball. I want the ball." And then he throws it to you. Is it a little extra satisfying that it happens on a guy who before the game was over on your sideline and headbutting the secondary for the Chiefs and trying to bully you guys, and he ends up being the guy on the other end of you catching that big pass?
No, I mean, I don't think it was more satisfying. I think it was more satisfying in general versus that team. They tried to be the bullies all year. And, even when we came, into that, stadium, everyone that was on their team was trying to have that kind of bully us attitude, and it's all good. Just bully the bully. And that's just kind of what we did.
You had the tweet that may have won the day after winning the day, and that is going into the bank like Chiefsaholic. Was that pre-planned? Did you have that ready to go in the drafts just in case you guys ended up winning that, all right, this is too good to pass up. We're going in there like Chiefsaholic?
No, actually I didn't. It was more of a story of the moment thing. I'm usually not a tweeter after the game or anything like that, but it felt very fitting for the moment.
Yeah. Eric Bieniemy there before that Baltimore game. We found out yesterday that was something that took place. Did you guys know that EB was going to stop by and address the team and be a part of it? And what was that like to see him back in his element a little bit?
No, we actually had no idea. Obviously, DC wasn't too far from Baltimore. But when he came by, he stopped by and just gave a unique amount of energy that you kind of just missed.
Did you get flashbacks a little bit as that happened?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Do you look back? There's still another game to play. Totally understandable. But do you ever sit back and think of what the last couple of years have been like as a free agent, and then you sign with the Chiefs, and now you get a chance to win Super Bowl number 2?
Yeah, it was a great feeling, man, just to kind of go back and be a part of this thing. I don't look back too far. I say that for the off season. Got one more game to kind of focus on, and then after that we'll look at it.
Is it nice doing all the prep in the Raiders facility?
Yeah, I mean it's cool to come out to Arrowhead West and get it done.
That's pretty good. You know what, Marquez? We'll let you go on that. That'll be the nice little mic drop. Thank you. I appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, no problem.
There you go. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, big postseason so far for him, a big game against Buffalo, big game against Baltimore, and them doing their work at Arrowhead West. That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
That'll do. Is it now being called Arrowhead West?
I think win the Super Bowl and they should get to spray paint it on
That's
the
true.
wall like Sporting Kansas City. Just spray paint Arrowhead West on the side of the stadium.
Well, they've been putting up Chiefs gear and Chiefs logos all over the Raiders facility, and with the NFL has all of these different podium sound, all the 10 different players that are at podiums during the day for the last few days, and then they send out the file, and then the file that they send out, you can click on transcript and it'll transcribe it. But it's a terrible transcription. So one of them, as I'm reading through the transcript, it was somebody from a couple of days ago that said, "Yeah, they're putting cheap stuff all over the all over the Raiders. Try to make it a little more red, but yeah, there's cheap stuff all over the walls now." So it's like, wow. So I had to go and listen. Like, oh, it says there's Chiefs stuff.
And they're really taking all that UNLV practice facility stuff personally. That's wild.
We got Chiefs stuff all over the wall. The Chiefs stuff making it a little more red. But there was another transcript that I meant to take a picture of. there was something about a bird living on my shoulder, but it was not a bird living on my shoulder. It was, I gotta go back and find that, man. I wish I would have taken a screenshot of that. I was like, oh, I'll remember that. It's too easy not to. But just like the transcript thing of what it's hearing and what it's trying to transcribe, like in closed caption while it's talking, as opposed to like somebody sitting down and typing it out and going, clearly they didn't put cheap red gear and stickers and decals all over the Raiders facility to make it feel a little bit more like home. They put Chiefs stuff there on the wall. So Steve Spagnuolo, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and we'll see whoever else. And
Willie Gay in the middle there, by the way. Just wanted you to know, you forget we got both
Jeez.
sides of the ball and a coordinator. It's been a good day over here.
Yeah, I mean, right? I mean, come on, man. This is great so far. It's fantastic, man. We'll get into a conversation with Craig Stout coming up in the 11 o'clock hour. I believe we will.
That's what I was just texting was, hey, Greg, it might be a few minutes into the 11 o'clock hour. We're going to have to move some things around because
if he's there, can Chad just walk over and give him what if it's like, all right, guys, it's here's Willie Gay. All right, guys, here's Craig Stout.
Whoa, what a
hey.
get.
Well, Craig, I know you only have like 4 minutes, so let's quick the keys to the game. What do you think, man? What are you feeling here? All right, thank you. All right, now let's go to Steve Spagnuolo.
Keys of the game. Coach, I read what you wrote on KC Sport. No, that's not you. That's not you at all. I saw what you did in the Super Bowl, Craig. Nope, wrong guy. My bad.
Is this Kent Swan? Slippy, Slappy, Samsonite. Kent Samsonite joins us right now. How much fun is that?
It's pretty fun.
Yeah. So we'll talk with Craig Stout coming up.
If you can't tell, we're in the holding pattern of maybe incoming guest.
You know what? And we just got to just kind of just hang out here.
Maybe.
Just and see what we get. And you hang out to see what you guys get as well. Spags, Willie Gay, and MVS. We'll see who else.
Here's what I'm gonna do.
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna mention who is in our crosshairs right now because he's a player that I wanted to talk about in the context of who Spags and Willie Gay were, what they were saying about all this. Drew Tranquill, who may be joining us in a moment, we'll find out. He had such an unbelievable AFC Championship game, and so many of the things that the Niners do are going to, in my opinion, play into the hands of what Drew Tranquill does best in a lot of ways. The fact that he played such a vital role all season, stepped in for Nick Bolton for as long as he did, and then now is taking kind of a step, he's still playing a very large role, but not playing all the snaps like he was when he was the green dot, to be as excellent as he was against Baltimore. I am excited to see him in this game on Sunday, and I'm hoping he gets a lot of work out there against this Niners offense.
Yeah, me too, because, look, there are some fantastic players on the Niners, and you need the athleticism. And Drew Tranquill can run all over the field. He had the interception in the wild card game against the Jags last year. Was a big reason why they jumped out to that huge lead. And then, of course, we know that lead didn't last long for the Chargers. And now a year later, from having that experience and probably the lowest point in his career of coming off that game when you feel like you're getting ready to move on and play in the divisional round and keep that thing going, and then the game is over and your season is over. And now signing with the Chiefs and heading to the Super Bowl is pretty awesome. Like the whole thing, like everybody that's a part of this team, like the draft class last year.
Mm-hmm. Like
how absurd is it you get drafted in the NFL and now you're playing in your second Super Bowl in your second year in the NFL.
Yep.
Like I know that there was after they beat the Ravens, the Chiefs put out video of draft day with Isaiah Pacheco and his draft party. And, like, he's talking to him, and then they hand the phone. Brett Veach talks to him. It's like, all right, we're going to turn the card here. And then they hand the phone to Andy Reid. And Pacheco's already put the phone down. And he's screaming, and he's crying and everything. And he hasn't told anybody what team. He's just saying yes. And it starts sprinkling through the party. It's Chiefs. Chiefs? It's the Chiefs? Dude. And it's like everybody wants to be Chiefs. The Chiefs are picking them. And it was like, he goes from a guy that may not be drafted at Rutgers, trying to make it to the NFL, and then spreading through the party like, oh my God, he's getting drafted by the Chiefs.
He's gonna get the ball from Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid's offense.
He's gonna be a Chief. Like this is be different. It was Bears. Okay, yep. He's in Chicago. Bears. Okay, that's all right. Yeah,
You got drafted. Hey,
you got drafted.
That's
Bears. Hey,
huge.
let's see what you do, man. See what you got. Yeah, but no, not the case. All right, let's talk to a man who was not drafted by the Chiefs, but certainly was a huge addition to this team. Drew Tranquil is joining us there live from Vegas. Drew, welcome to the show, man. How you feeling today on this Thursday?
Fantastic, man. The sun is shining, and I'm just blessed to have an opportunity to play in the biggest game, the game that you dream of as a kid. And man, it's been so fun so far this week.
Did doubt in your? I mean, you haven't played in the league long, but did doubt ever creep into where it's like, man, am I ever going to get that chance? Especially like last year with obviously the disappointing loss for the Chargers there, with you being a part of that. Did doubt ever creep in as like, man, am I ever going to get this chance to play on that biggest stage in the Super Bowl?
Well, I mean, I certainly believe, when you work hard and you're consistent in what you do and in your approach, that opportunities will come your way. I was hungry just to get to the playoffs, having only played in one playoff game in 4 seasons with the Chargers, just to have the opportunity to be in the playoffs. And then the playoffs are special, man. It's like a 1-week season each and every week. And to be able to climb that ladder and beat some really good teams and have a chance to go against another great team here on Sunday has been special.
Did you guys, Drew Tranquil, we're talking with him, did you guys prove anything to yourself, or was it maybe letting other people know that you guys are still the Chiefs when you went to Buffalo and, people picking the Bills to win, you guys hadn't gone on the road, and all these playoff games and the Chiefs, and obviously, new here with the Chiefs this year, but did you guys maybe prove something to yourself that, yeah, we are still the Chiefs and we are still the team and the kings of the AFC?
I don't know that we did. I think we've had a belief in ourselves. There's championship DNA all throughout this organization. And when I say championship DNA, there's obviously championships that have been won, but there's just high-caliber people that have incredible competitive stamina, an incredible desire to win, and an incredible desire to be their best when their best is needed. And certainly your best is needed when you're in the playoffs, and it's do or die. And this team has really come alive. I think that Christmas Day loss to the Las Vegas Raiders really woke us up in a lot of ways, and we've played some pretty complimentary football when you look at the Bengals. We rest a lot of our starters against the Chargers, and the guys who maybe haven't played a ton, man, they didn't lose a beat. They kept their identity. We get that win, and then we've just kind of rolled, week after week throughout the playoffs, and we'll have to do it again against a good San Francisco 49ers team.
I know that when you sign with the Chiefs, you want to be a big part of the defense and want to be a big part of why the success would be there. But did you think you would be as big a part when you fill in earlier than maybe people thought with the green dot when Nick Bolton goes down and you're the man at that point, and then Willie Gay goes down and different guys at different times and you're filling in and just played a phenomenal AFC championship game against the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, it was just an amazing game to watch, quite frankly, Drew. But your impact on this team this year, when you sign with the Chiefs, you want to be a part of it. Maybe it's a reserve role, maybe it's a rotational role, but you've been way more than that for this defense. Was that a part of it to where you signed in with the Chiefs, that there was at least that chance that you can make that big of an impact with this team?
Well, it was one of the main reasons I signed here in KC was they made it very clear in my free agency process that they play the best players here, and that the best players will always have the chance to play valuable snaps within this scheme and within this team. That was very attractive to me. Obviously, we have an incredible group in our linebacker room, and I've just looked back on my football experience, a big one being choosing to go to Notre Dame over Purdue. There were, you could say, more guarantees going to Purdue. I probably was going to start as a true freshman. There was a lot more competition at Notre Dame at the time, and I kind of felt peace about going there and competing. And any situation in my life when I put myself in a competitive environment with really good people around me, it's always made me better in the end. And I really felt like I would come out of this year as a better player, and I really believe that we've done that. And really excited to play in this biggest game with all these guys. We put a lot of hard work in, and it's going to be a good one.
Do you let George Karlaftis know that you had a better college experience because you chose Notre Dame over Purdue?
I haven't let him know that
Okay.
yet, but we're still trying to put the pride of Indiana on the map, man. These guys don't respect Indiana football out here. They're talking about California, Texas, Ohio, Florida. we're just trying to get the Indiana pride on the map.
Yeah, get that Fort Wayne love going on with Drew Tranquil. He is our guest. The text that you put out, the screenshot with Andy Reid of when you think Red, think Super Bowls. By the way, Super Bowls is phenomenal with the S. Think Super Bowls. A couple things with that. Have you finally got around to answering all the texts that were there that were still sitting on your phone? And have you plugged your phone in since then, since it was like on 5% power when you took that screenshot?
I have. Maybe I need to get a new phone. I've had mine for 4 or 5 years, and maybe the battery. Maybe I just need to get a new phone with a better battery. I have not responded to all the messages. That's one of the things I always feel so bad about is after a game day, like not being able to get back to messages. But I felt better when I was sitting with Tommy Townsend in the steam room, and he had 3 or 4x the amount of unread messages that I've had. Made me feel a little bit better about myself. So maybe Tommy needs to get to answering his messages.
Now, Drew, is there any truth to the rumor that your battery is so low because you refuse to have anything to do with a charger?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Oh, no. If it didn't land, it didn't land. I'm saying, is your battery so low because
I just didn't hear you. It's so loud in here. That's one of the things with this Super Bowl week, man. There's so many cameras and people talking all the time.
We know you're good at communicating in loud circumstances, too, so it's fine. I'm just asking if there's any truth to the rumor that your phone's battery was so low because you've just decided to boycott anything having to do with chargers from this point on.
I got it now. I'm very much boycotting the Chargers this season, so maybe that has to do with it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Drew Tranquil is our guest. You're a chess champion. When people talk about Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo playing chess, not checkers, do you take that literally?
I do, man. Those guys are incredible. There's obviously a lot of strategy in chess. You got to see moves in advance, and those guys seem to do that week in and week out. It seems like we found multiple ways to win this season. You talk about teams having an identity and winning a certain way. I feel like this team has been able to take on different identities in different weeks to win football games, and none other than these last 3 weeks, which have been obviously the biggest games, each game getting bigger and bigger. And we'll have to find a way to win on Sunday this week.
Has Justin Reid got that rematch yet in the chess match?
Justin Reid gets that smoke every time we play. He's a great player, don't get me wrong. Gets a little too confident, starts making moves too fast. He's had me down, and I've had to climb my way out multiple times. He has beaten me, I think, one time, but we've got a good rivalry going on, and hopefully we can continue that down the road.
Awesome. Keep giving that smoke. Keep giving the smoke to the opposing offenses, too. Drew Tranquil, our guest. Hey, man, congrats on the season so far. Thank you for joining us, and bring back another Lombardi trophy, man.
Absolutely. Go Chiefs, guys.
All right, there's Drew Tranquil. He is boycotting everything that has to do with Chargers this season.
Except for hitting them on occasion. It's the only thing.
I'm glad you were confident enough to ask it again,
yeah,
even though it didn't land. But it didn't land because he didn't get it. It didn't land because he didn't hear it.
I don't take any of it personally. I understand, but I did realize up in the air there that, well, if the volume was an issue, it's not going to be as clean of a swipe as it could have been. But again, it's about communicating on the fly, adjusting to the opposition and to your surroundings, and that's something that me and Drew Tranquil can both do.
And he had no problem playing along with it.
None.
And saying, no, I'm boycotting anything with the Chargers this year. He still hasn't answered all of his texts. I don't feel as bad now that he hasn't got back to me on that text that I sent him, and a congratulatory text.
That's a lot of texts. He's been busy. I'm guessing the texts keep going up throughout this week, actually.
So he had like 150, and he said Tommy Townsend has 3 or 4 times as many unanswered texts on his phone.
Yeah. I bet there's a comma in Tommy's unreads.
You think it's in the thousands?
I see that every once in a while come through on like a screenshot that somebody puts out, and it's like, oh, some people live that way. Not Tommy in particular, but like I've seen enough people show that type of absolute unhinged behavior from their inbox, and I just want you to know that people like that are out there.
Do we think we're done, or should we continue the holding pattern flying around, circling some more? Can we buzz the tower? Should we break?
You think break? Let's take a break. All right.
Dylan says negative Ghost Rider pattern is full.
The Zone is presented by Guaranteed Foods, delivering all natural food to Midwestern families since 1958. Enjoy healthier food, more free time, free delivery, and better value. Go to GuaranteedFoods.com.
All right, hanging out here on this Thursday edition of The Zone. Jason Anderson with you, Josh Brisco, Dylan Michaels. We head up until 2 o'clock. We will play some sports or leisure in the 1 o'clock hour. Right now, we continue rolling with different guests. All right, who do we have on the phone now? Since we went from Spags to Willie Gay to MVS to Drew Tranquil, and now we're told somebody else has been given the phone.
Jason, I'm seeing here we have another hard-hitting defender. This is Craig Stout, defensive mastermind of KC Sports Network, the KC Laboratory podcast, I believe.
Fantastic.
Familiar with what it's like to carry underperforming teammates. Craig, thanks for being here with us live from Vegas, I guess.
How cool is it for you to be playing and being a part of another Super Bowl in your career?
I mean, no, it's wonderful. I mean, as my career as a podcaster, it's obviously very important to how the team functions, and we're definitely continuing with the heavy hitters. I think you guys need to play the song One of These Things Is Not Like the Other right about now, but I'm ready to talk football with you guys.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Craig Stout is our guest, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. Well, we're obviously feeling pretty good and having some fun here on the air. Let's talk about the actual game. So, how you feeling right now, a few days out? Not just overall like excitement, but how you feeling about the game and maybe an idea of how it will go? 3 days to go.
Yeah, since this matchup kind of landed, after the Chiefs got past the Ravens, I really liked the matchup. It didn't really matter if it was the Detroit Lions or the San Francisco 49ers. When it became the 49ers, obviously their run game is great. Their defense has potential, but they got a lot of studs on that defensive line. Fred Warner's a really good player. There's lots of really good players on that team. But for whatever reason, I have just felt like the Chiefs match up really, really well with this 49ers team on both sides of the ball. We are seeing, postseason Andy Reid, postseason Steve Spagnuolo, and certainly postseason Patrick Mahomes. So I don't know. Ever since this kind of matchup happened when the Chiefs cleared the Ravens hurdle, I really liked the way that it fell to the Chiefs. So I'm feeling pretty confident going into this game, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I said on Sunday going into the AFC Championship game with some friends, and I said I think the Chiefs-Ravens is the Super Bowl because I like the Ravens against the 49ers and the Lions, and I like the Chiefs against the 49ers and the Lions. I was a little once bitten, twice shy because I said the same thing about the divisional round with Chiefs and Bills when the next game was the Bengals after they had knocked off the Titans. It's like, all right, well, winner of Chiefs and Bills going to the Super Bowl. That did not happen. But I don't think the Chiefs are going to get caught off guard by, an up-and-coming Bengals team that it's like, yeah, we're good, and we know that we let that one get away earlier this year, but we're a much better team than this Bengals team. This is history on the line. So while that happened before, I had that feeling that going into that game, if the Chiefs find a way to win, whoever wins this one, I love the matchup going into the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I said it earlier this week or last week on the lab, kind of talked about how the last time that I felt this confident about a big game, it was the Super Bowl against Tampa Bay, and I kind of swept some things under the rug there. Hey, they've been playing with kind of a makeshift offensive line all year long, so it doesn't really matter. Patrick Mahomes knows what to do. He knows how to handle it, and he played great. Don't get me wrong, but it ended up mattering a lot more than I think I gave it credit for. And so I keep trying to reframe this whole thing under that sort of lens, and I keep coming back to the same thing. How often does a team that has the better quarterback, the better head coach, and the better defense lose the Super Bowl? It's not something that happens very often, and the Chiefs, in my opinion, have all three of those things. I just think they're going to come out with a great game plan. I think they're going to execute better. I think they are laser focused this week, and I don't know that I can say the same about San Francisco right now. So it just really does kind of feel like everything is pointing the Chiefs' direction right now, even though the Vegas line would have you believe that the 49ers are the better football team.
Craig Stout is our guest, KC Laboratory Podcast, kcsn.substack.com. You mentioned a few things there. You said the defense, the head coach, and the quarterback. Anything in particular, like matchup-wise specifically, that gives you confidence in the game on Sunday from the Chiefs' perspective?
Oh, yeah. I do think, the 49ers run a lot of zone running schemes. I know everybody's worried about Christian McCaffrey, who's an awesome football player, should be Offensive Player of the Year in the NFL this year. And I'm not trying to mitigate, the sorts of things that he can do here. But with his zone-heavy attack, an inside zone-heavy attack, an outside zone-heavy attack, the Chiefs have treated these on defense in certain occasions a lot differently than they have, against gap-heavy teams. And so they'll walk up a Leo Chanel and create a five-man surface for the defense. They will create, when they're in the nickel, which the 49ers, we'll see how often they're in 21 personnel. They use it a lot. But when they do go 11, the Chiefs can still use that 3-3-5 defense that we've seen them use, create that five-man surface again. That makes it so those offensive linemen can't climb to the second level, can't get out in space, and can't create some of the holes for Christian McCaffrey. You're going to have a lot of that interior stuff bottled up and forcing him to bounce to the outside, which, again, actually plays a little bit to the strength of the Chiefs because they have such good tackling defensive backs.
Yeah.
They are uniquely equipped to kind of spill everything to the outside with McCaffrey and try and bring him down in space. And I realize how terrifying that sounds. But with these DBs, that might be the best way to come out and try and approach this sort of thing. Make it to where he can't hit the line of scrimmage at full speed. Make it to where, he's got to break a tackle in space, which he certainly can and probably will do multiple times. But I like that matchup a lot more. I know everybody's kind of harping on the whole, they're 31st. The Chiefs defense is 31st against the zone run and all of that. Yeah, that is the case. A lot of that happened early in the year. A lot of that happened without Nick Bolton in the equation. Some of that happened without Drew Tranquill in the equation. We have seen those instances where it didn't work out for the Chiefs, and they saw a lot of zone rushes. But then when we kind of take it back to the macro picture, from a single game perspective, with Steve Spagnuolo game planning this, you can't convince me that he's not going to come out and present those challenges to the 49ers and try and make them work uphill with their run game rather than just being able to play downhill.
Yeah, they played the Miami Dolphins, and I know you like to study the defense and everything, and you're very good from that standpoint. How much are there similarities between the Miami Dolphins outside zone and what the 49ers do? Because Mostert had, I think a 10-yard gain, and then outside of that, he had 7 carries for 21 yards. Achane was bottled up for 9 yards on like 6 or 7 carries. That zone rushing team, the Chiefs didn't seem to have a problem with. Now they got a lead and, made them go away from that a little bit, which would be awesome on Sunday. But are there similarities and differences between the way that Mike McDaniel runs his Shanahan offense as the way that Kyle Shanahan runs his Shanahan offense?
I mean, there's certainly a lot more fullback work. Kyle Juszczyk is going to play a ton, and that creates that extra gap, which does make that scheme a lot harder to defend. I make it sound very easy. Just walk this guy up, and now you got all the offensive line taken care of. Juszczyk feeling the edge is a danger man as well, but Christian McCaffrey's ability to hit the cutback is so much different than Raheem Mostert. The Chiefs could have him bottled up on the front side. Let's say it's a wide zone play. You've got him bottled up outside the numbers. He could see that little seam and cut back against the flow of the defense, and that might be 6. So there is a significant difference in his ability to hit those cutbacks, which makes me think they are going to clog the middle of the line, that they're going to try and prevent some of these cutback lanes from developing and just saying, hey, Justin Reed, Shamari Connor, L'Jarius Sneed, Trenton Duffy, get out there and let's hit him. Let's slow him down. Let's try and make this happen and force him to continually play to the numbers. Now, again, strength there. That's still a strength for the 49ers. Not trying to say that it's not. But it is something that makes it a lot easier to read, prevents maybe some of the monster plays that can occur there with the cutback lanes, and takes away some of the stuff that makes Kyle Shanahan's run game so dangerous with Christian McCaffrey. Again, You give him continue to stretch. Maybe you force him into some 1- and 2-yard carries. You want the 49ers in 2nd and 3rd and 8. You want to force Brock Purdy to be the one that is dictating the game, that is dictating the flow of the game, much like they did with Tua, where they just said, hey, we're going to bottle up the run, and if Tua beats us, then okay, but we feel good about our game plan to stop him. I think it will be kind of a similar approach to this with the 49ers versus a team like the Bills or the Ravens, where they're going to say, we want you to have to make your quarterback play perfect all game long, dinking and dunking, keeping the ball underneath, and don't allow anything deep. I think the approach will be just a little different from the Chiefs defense.
Craig Stott is our guest, KC Laboratory Podcast, kcsn.substack.com. Maybe this goes along with it, that zone rushing attack for the 49ers and what the Chiefs have done against that. But my next one was going to be, there are some things in there, the confidence in the matchup. What concerns you as the Chiefs go into this game about the matchup with the 49ers?
I mean, what concerns me is, if the Chiefs have to be reliant on a 4-man rush, Brock Purdy's switching against the blitz. It's one of the things that he's best at, and it's not even one of those that I can say, hey, Steve Spagnuolo's got an exotic blitz package that, Brock Purdy's never seen before. His head's going to be on a swivel. I don't know. You go back and you watch him against the Minnesota Vikings, and that Brian Flores defense is even more exotic from a blitzing perspective. Brock Purdy handled it very well. So the Chiefs are going to have to rely a little bit more on the 4-man rush. Missing Charles Omenihu hurts there. He's a guy that can win quickly. I like Chris Jones in this matchup. I like the ability for them to get one-on-ones for Chris Jones, with some of the different looks, dropping guys out, forcing them into different, scripts and stuff like that. I like the matchup for Chris Jones, but I don't know that I love the matchup for anybody else. So that worries me a little bit, not being able to get pressure on that front, missing Charles Omenihu. But, if I switch to the other side of the ball, all of my worries are related to, hey, do they revert to the regular season version of this offense? Because what we've seen in the postseason is enough. I truly believe that, especially against the 49ers defense that has really struggled to stop the run. That is one of those things I think the Chiefs can lean on, especially if they get a lead and turn this into an Isaiah Pacheco game. I think that's very much in the realm of possibility here. And Andy's really good at, forcing Nick Bosa out of the game by putting a lot on his plate through jet motion, things of that nature. So I really like what the offense can do against this defense. It's just now if all of a sudden we turn into the mistake-ridden, holding penalties, big mistakes, drops, things like that. If we see the offense that we've seen throughout the year, then I'm going to start to get a little worried about the outcome of this.
Craig Stott is our guest. I didn't put much in the weight of experience in the playoffs because we've seen teams that did not have experience, come in and beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, meaning, the Bengals. But that Baltimore Ravens game, I don't think there's any getting around, what it meant to be in that moment for both of those teams. And even, Craig, even hearing the mic'd up with Patrick Mahomes, like 7 minutes of mic'd up in that Ravens game, and him at the end of the game going, composure, work hard until the whistle, composure, keep it locked in. And the Ravens were the ones losing their composure and just being in that moment. How much do you think maybe that does factor into this week to where the 49ers have not been here for a while? There were only 7 players on the team that played in that 2019-2020 Super Bowl, whereas the Chiefs have, the team that they played last year. Their last year was playing in the Super Bowl. How much do you think that that factors into this of the sort of been there, done that feel for this team this go-around?
I didn't want to believe that was going to be the case with the Niners. If you would have told me that, the Detroit Lions is one that I think it would have been a much bigger conversation. I think they would have been pressing a little more than maybe the Niners will. Kyle Shanahan's been here a couple of times in the Super Bowl. It's not a foreign environment. And then we got to this week or, the end of last week. You got Nick Bosa already complaining about holding. The game hasn't even started yet, and he's complaining about holding. You got the 49ers complaining about the field and how soft it is and asking the Chiefs if they can come out and practice at their facility. You got Kyle Shanahan just seeming a little off at media night. Like, there's enough things here that I just look at this team and I say, I think they're a little unfocused I think that maybe they're trying to keep things loose. Maybe they're trying to, trying not to get too uptight or anything. But I see a team that's maybe missing some of the laser focus that has gotten them to this point. And now I'm wondering, is this an actual advantage for the Chiefs because they've been here before? Patrick Mahomes knows that they've been here before. One of the things that he admits is, hey, I know we're in Vegas. I know there's lots of fun stuff for us to do here. Let's go win the Super Bowl. I'll take us all back here.
That's right.
Like, we don't have to party now. We can do this later. The job's not finished. I don't get that same vibe from the 49ers. I'm sure they're working hard. I'm sure they're trying to get locked in and all this. It's just outwardly, what we've seen publicly seems like a team that is enjoying the fact that they are here. They really appreciate the fact that they beat the Lions and that they are in this game, but not one that's really kind of conveying a lot of, we think we've got this in, their atmosphere and their attitude publicly. It seems like they're already making some excuses. They're already kind of lining up the bingo card full of things to help justify, this is why we didn't win, rather than projecting that outward confidence, projecting that focus the same way that the Chiefs are.
Craig Stott is our guest. You mentioned Patrick Mahomes saying that he's going to take everybody back to Vegas if they win. Hopefully he can afford it. I don't know. I do worry about how that bill can rack up very quickly in Vegas.
He might have to do another commercial. Spend
right.
one more day doing a commercial to afford that. Yes.
Which by the way, hat tip to Blair Kirchhoff. When Blair was asking Patrick about, some of the stuff off the field, like the commercials, and he said, I wanted to talk to you about your side hustle. And Patrick Mahomes put he had a smirk on his face, like, all right, yeah, like, oh, okay, this guy must be swag surfing over here. But Blair Kirchhoff, I wanted to talk to you about your side hustle off the field. Like, that was great. Hat tip to Blair. But you know what? If they win, Patrick better, come through on that, because Travis Kelce said he's going to buy McCole Hardman a car because he missed the block on that, fumble into the end zone. And McCole said the other day he hasn't heard squat about a car coming from Travis Kelce. So I'm just saying, what a good way to draw, put a fissure in the locker room. You start doing stuff like that,
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Travis thinks that all he's got to do is get to the offseason and McCole will think about or forget about it. McCole needs to continue to remind him that he said that. I'll be curious to see how that works out.
McCole did say, he was like, no, I don't need anything, man. It's just as a team. But then at the end of the sort of Q&A with Todd, he goes, maybe I will remind him and let him know that what's up on that car. I'm not going to turn down a car from Travis Kelce. Come on. He can afford it, too. He's made more money in his career than McCole Hardman. He's marrying into, pop star royalty eventually one day. So he won't have to be the breadwinner anymore there. It's all good. Visiting with Craig Stout, KC Sports Network, kcsn.substack.com, as the Chiefs and 49ers get ready to match up, face off in this game. Do you have a prediction for us, an idea, a score of maybe how you think the game will go, and a final score in mind if you have it?
Yeah, like I said, I just have a lot of confidence about this game. I think that Steve Spagnuolo is going to come out with a terrific game plan. I think that this team has relied on their defense all year long, and all the conversations that I've heard all week is about how the 49ers offense is going to be able to run over this defense. And we've heard that time and time again. I mean, we just got done talking about this team under the lens of they're playing the Baltimore Ravens, who are one of the best rushing teams in the NFL, and Steve Spagnuolo found a way to show looks and force the Ravens to stop running the ball. Like, I know people want to lay that at the feet of Todd Monken. Steve Spagnuolo is playing off tendencies and forcing them into that. I don't believe for a second that Steve Spagnuolo is going to come out with a generic game plan that's going to get just completely run over. He has been exceptional all season. And from that perspective, I look at this and I say, I think the 49ers are going to struggle to consistently score this game. And if that's the case, I have full faith that the Chiefs offense against a team that plays 80% static zone on the back end. You know who's really good against static zone? Travis Kelce and Rashee Rice, the two guys that they want to get the ball to a ton in the passing game, and are struggling to defend the run, who is the third guy on the Chiefs offense that they really want to try and force into the game script as much as possible on Isaiah Pacheco. I just think it matches up and it lines up really well for the Chiefs. I think they get out to maybe a 10 to 14 point lead at the half against the 49ers. Coming out of the half, the 49ers are going to try and throw the ball a little bit around the yard, go into more of a pass-heavy script that plays into the Chiefs' strength. I think Chris Jones has a good game, and I just don't think the 49ers have enough, and Andy Reid and the Chiefs offense will in the second half to close it out. I got the Chiefs winning this one 27-13 in a game that doesn't even really feel that close, in my opinion.
All right, well, if they're up 14 in the second half in the fourth quarter, Willie Gay already said that he's going to request swag surfing from the DJ if they get up by a decent amount. So
Does he have the DJ's number for the Super Bowl? Because that would be awesome if
I
he
don't
already
know.
got that.
I asked him, I said, swag surfing, you going to ask for that in the Super Bowl? He goes, when we get up 14 or 21 points in the fourth quarter, I'll request the swag surfing for the game. I'm like, all right, sounds good, man. I'll hold him to it. We'll see. Craig Stout, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. Craig, you're the man. Really appreciate the time, brother. Enjoy the game, and we'll catch up soon.
Absolutely. Go Chiefs.
There you go. Craig Stout, great stuff from him. KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. And, yeah, this matchup coming up in just a few days, man. I'm where Josh was yesterday, where I'm ready to go now. I'm ready to go. It's on the other side of the week. Hump Day has already passed. We're on the flip side. We're on the downside now, heading to the weekend. And let's go, man. Let's get this game rolling. Let's get it here because, more and more, I love the matchups. And I'm in agreement with Craig in that, a couple of times that I've been really confident about the Chiefs in the postseason. The Bucs in the Super Bowl, and then the Bengals in the AFC Championship game. Those are a couple of the times I've been. Maybe the most confident I was for the Chiefs was the Houston Texans game in the divisional round, or in the divisional round game when they were down 24-0. Because all week I was like, the Texans are not even on the level of the Chiefs. Come on, the Chiefs are going to blow this team out. Like this is going to be. They won the game last year. They already got that off their backs of the Arrowhead Stadium and all the horrors there. The horrors there, and then the Patriots. In that AFC Championship game, they're going to beat down this Texans team, and it looked dumb for about a quarter. And then what happened after that was a 51-7 run. So I felt pretty good about the fact that they were that much better, but I was really confident going into that Bucs game in that they'll find. They've moved some things around at offensive line. Patrick Mahomes is inevitable. It's going to be fine. The Chiefs dominated the Bucs until they took their foot off the gas earlier this year. Everything's going to work out. Now, that was on Friday before the news came out about, what took place with Britt Reed, and I certainly think that had an impact on that game. And then the very next year in the AFC Championship game, I was just uber confident, like no nerves whatsoever going into that game against the Bengals, especially getting up by 18. I'm like, this is exactly what I thought was going to happen. This is going to be a coronation in the second half. It's going to be 3 out of 4 Super Bowls they go to, and it's all going to be good in the hood, man.
It's just further evidence to everybody who was mad about last week. You don't want us confident in the Chiefs winning. I've said it all week. 49ers 50, Chiefs nothing. You're welcome, America. Jason, stop being a coward and come over to this side of the fence with me and pick against the Chiefs. Be confident in the Niners, and we'll do a parade on Wednesday. I have the formula.
Well, I'm actually going to pick the Chiefs to win, so I apologize about that. I'm thinking maybe something like 37-17.
No!
All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson, Josh Brisco, Dylan Michaels heading up until 2 o'clock. We got Sports or Leisure coming up at 1 o'clock, presented by Johnny's Tavern. Thank you to Craig Stout joining us in the previous segment. Thank you to Steve Spagnuolo, to Willie Gay, to MVS, and to Drew Tranquil joining us in the first hour, talking with them live about the Super Bowl and different things going on. MVS is on Twitter. There is a quote going around. It was in a question to Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce was asked a question that was stated, MVS has said you play bad cop, that Mahomes doesn't get mad at the receivers. He sends you, Travis, to go play bad cop. And then Travis said, I mean, I'll be bad cop, I guess. You know, I'd treat everybody the way that I would treat me. So if a drop pass, a bad route, whatever it is, you know, I'm doing the same thing in myself. So, yeah, I'll play bad cop. And then that was tweeted out of, I think it was Charles Goldman. It said MVS had said that Travis Kelce plays bad cop. And then MVS tweeted,
LOL, what? I literally never said that, ever. There must be a different MVS on the team. Now, you can see the entire exchange. This is important. I'm going to give you important clarifiers here, folks. You can see the entire exchange in question here on the Sports Radio 810 social. We've got video of Travis Kelce getting that question and answering that question.
Right.
But whoever asked that question is not from 810.
Yeah,
This isn't our mess up. But whoever asked the question, according to MVS, has misattributed that little nugget. Rashee Rice also talked about like how much Travis Kelce's done for him as a receiver. Like I saw a few of those quotes going around.
Well,
also,
there was a quote for Rashee Rice of Travis Kelce playing the bad cop.
Did he use? I couldn't find a tweet with the word bad with the phrase bad cop from Rashee Rice. So maybe that's what it was. Then maybe that all comes down to the reporter getting their wires crossed on MVS. And
Charles
Rashee
Goldman,
Rice.
Rashee Rice on this quote. I don't think it's Trav playing bad cop. We all love it because it's Travis Kelce, and he's one of the greatest tight ends to ever play. Him being his size, anything he tells us, we can move a lot faster. It's just to help us.
That would require you getting that doubly wrong because it says I don't think it's Trav playing bad cop, not you.
I know what you're saying.
You. So that provides yet another point of confusion.
Yeah.
I'm not completely sure how we got here, but we're here now.
It's fun. You know what? Juwan Taylor's mom had passed away. Then we found out it was his grandma. Travis Kelce is asked to finish a Taylor Swift lyric that Karma is a guy on the Chiefs.
Did he answer it with on the Chiefs? I saw that he got asked yet. I didn't see
He answered with, they said, finish this lyric. Karma is a guy. And he goes, on the Chiefs. And they said, well, keep going. And he's like, just staring out there. And they're like, the next lyric. And he goes, what's the second question? It's like, I think Travis Kelce has handled this as perfectly as you can ask somebody in his position to handle all of the questions that are coming his way about Taylor Swift. This is his fourth day in a row. He will be at the podium for at least a half hour. Monday opening night, they had a half hour minimum. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they've had half hours at least, sometimes up to 40 minutes, 45 minutes sometimes, sitting at a podium. So this is 4 days in a row he's had to do this.
There was one particular answer that he gave that I wanted to actually, and Mahomes did this too. Sorry, this is actually a Mahomes quote I saw go by earlier that PJ Green tweeted out on Mahomes on Taylor Swift questions. He said, I know the questions are going to come and I'm going to answer them because of how great a person she is. That's a slam dunk. That is an absolute spinning slam dunk. The one that I saw, I guess, yesterday that I don't have in front of me right now was something along the lines of Travis Kelce saying, yeah, of course I'm going to keep answering Taylor Swift questions. I would be silly to view this as a negative.
Yeah.
And man, that one has to be the mindset you have in stardom like that. Otherwise, you are bleep. Or you're going to realize, like, oh, I don't actually want all that. I got to recede a little bit from the spotlight. But again, we talked about this the last couple of weeks. I just think it's important and super interesting. Travis Kelce's totally built for this. He is totally cut out for exactly this. He said being famous worldwide is very different than being famous just in Kansas City, and I believe that 1,000,000%. But he handled being famous in Kansas City, and then he handled being famous in NFL circles, and now he's famous everywhere, and he's still the same guy. He's still going to make, a little ding-dong joke on the podcast. He's still going to curse like a sailor in certain circumstances. But when it's time for him to, not accidentally put his uber-famous girlfriend on blast on a stage, well, then, yeah, he's going to sidestep that or gracefully handle whatever's going on there. It really has been a masterclass in appreciating the positive sides of this kind of fame that certainly has negative downsides.
I wonder how much we talk about experience of the game, that how much experience of this week, of knowing what's coming this week. Like L'Jarius Sneed yesterday shows up to Vegas. It's his first day in Vegas because of the birth of his child. And now AFC wide receivers have a sibling, which is awesome. So he wasn't there on opening night and wasn't there Tuesday. So he talks yesterday. And he doesn't elaborate very often, so there isn't much to clip from L'Jarius Sneed. A lot of it, I listening to it last night. 40 minutes of L'Jarius Sneed. He got about 500 questions. But one of the questions was, what's the toughest part of the week for you of the Super Bowl? He goes, this.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, this. The media. He goes, I'm not a talker. I just want to play ball. He's like, but I know the deal. I understand what it's about. It's about 10 seconds total, so I'll just paraphrase rather than just, here's a 10-second clip of L'Jarius Sneed saying, the media is the toughest part of the week for me. It's also the third time he's gone through this week of the media and the questions all week long. And it's like, what's the toughest part? This. Getting through this. And this is the last day. So getting through this and then, good to go as they move forward. So, and Andy Reid saying, they're sort of cranking down. That now it's Thursday, you've been the last week and a half or so, you've been cranking up, and now, all right, now you sort of calm it down. You get the walkthroughs, you get the Fast Friday stuff tomorrow. There won't be a Fast Friday or 10-10-10s. There won't be a Fast Friday in the media or anything like that, and then on into Sunday. But we got something cool going on right now at Urban Egg today until 1 o'clock. Bethany Bowman is there at Urban Egg. Bethany, how is the scene right now there at Urban Egg?
Hey, guys. Yeah, we're out here at Urban Egg in Hawthorne Plaza off 119th and Row in Overland Park. What is it, guys? Is it Thursday? So many people are in here. I mean,
it's Thursday.
Do people work? I'm so confused.
Nobody should be working this week, Bethany. It's Super Bowl week. Nobody should be working. This week and next week should be national holidays in the city that your team is playing in the Super Bowl.
Live here with Steve Spagnuolo, live from Urban Egg. What day is it? What time is it? I don't know.
I don't know. Good afternoon. Good morning. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, no, this place is packed. There's so much good food here. I'm looking at this menu. I am definitely going to get something to go before I head out here because it looks amazing. I mean, this food, they've got pancake flights, they've got breakfast burritos, they've got tacos. This menu is so extensive. It's awesome. They also have amazing drinks. The general manager, Tony, hooked us up over here, brought us a couple. They've got all these fancy juices and stuff. I tried the Cure. It is pineapple, vanilla, orange juice, coconut water. So good. It's almost like a pineapple dreamsicle. So good. And then a ginger splash is what Gabe Boucher here tried. Carrot, ginger, local honey lemonade. It was so good. But yeah, gonna try out the food here soon. I can let you guys know how that goes. But we also were able to give away a lot of T-shirts here today. We still have a few left. If anybody wants to get out here, they're the special edition. Welcome to Fabulous Las Vegas 810 Sports Radio shirts, and those have gone quick, and we still have a few left, though, if anybody wants to get out here and snag them. Right now, Urban Egg also has some promotions, so Bull Bound Bounce Back. If you return Urban Egg and get $1 off one of their breakfast bowls, Protein Garden or Carnitas, I think the Carnitas bowl might be what I'm going for here today when I get some food. Then they've got a limited time Valentine menu coming up too, running from the 10th to the 14th, and so there's some special items on that. I love this place. I will be a regular after today. It looks amazing.
Wouldn't it make sense for the Cure to only be served on a Friday?
Yeah, I guess.
Is that a good enough joke with the Cure and Friday? I'm in love.
You got to know the Cure. It's a pretty. I mean, it's narrow casting a little bit. Is good if you like the Cure.
Thursday doesn't even start.
I'm emo enough that I thought it was a good joke.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Bethany, how many shirts we got left, and what's the deal with the however many that are there with the first come first serve?
Yeah, so there was a line out the door for the first, 20 minutes to get some T-shirts. So we are running a little bit low on sizes, but we have a little bit of the socks left here. I know we've got some smalls, we've got some XLs. A few guys came in. Well, they said not really a extra large, and more of a 2XL. We're like, well, hey, you can cut the sleeves off. You can wear it, show off your muscles with this shirt. So we do have a few left, and we've had kids, we've had, some older, younger, everybody coming in to get these shirts. So I'm excited to see everybody sporting these this week as the Chiefs prepare for the Super Bowl.
Oh. I thought you were going to say something, Josh.
Nope, I was just sign language communicating with Dylan.
Oh, very good.
Bethany, if you want to bring back some snacks with us.
Dylan, I love you.
Jason loves you, Dylan.
Yes, you too,
Love you
Bethany.
too,
I'm
guys.
sign languaging right now. I thought we were doing some...
I was doing air traffic controller work.
Yeah.
It's okay. Sorry.
Signing on the radio, Bethany, doesn't seem to work very well.
Yeah, I was
don't
trying to
know.
do it off air,
I'm not
kinda.
sure. Thank you, Bethany. Keep killing it out there. One more hour to go. Stay safe, would you? It sounds like it's very packed right now.
Yeah, I'm going to try my best. So we've got quite the crowd, but I'll do my best. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. There's Bethany Bowman. She's at Urban Egg, which is located in Hawthorne Plaza off Row and 119th Street, the southwest corner of 119th and Row. Still have some shirts available. The started with 81, the special edition shirts. And
maybe more like 10 now. We may have cut down.
We went from 81 down to 8 or 10.
Yeah, that's probably right.
We'll find out. I'd like for them to bring 8 or 10 pancakes to me.
Please.
to GuaranteedFoods.com.
All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Josh Brisco, Dylan Michaels. Having a lot of fun on this Thursday edition. Our coverage of the Super Bowl, Radio Row, and other players that we hear from, along with there at the team hotel, presented by DePasquale Moore Injury Attorneys. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact the DePasquale Moore Law Firm today. Get the money you deserve. Remember, Mike's got this, and also Hollywood Casino, the all-new sportsbook at Hollywood Casino at Kansas Speedway, now open. Remodeled with an all-new bar, ticker tape, leather sofas, and armchairs, and so much more. The big game coming up on Sunday.
It's also brought to you by the Low T Center. Fellas, do you know your numbers? Low T Center makes it quick and easy. Go to lowtcenter.com to get your levels checked today. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare. Also brought to you by Green Light Dispensary. Check out their amazing February Flower Power deals at greenlightdispensary.com.
Let's hear from Chris Jones. And, we were just talking about the media, the questions and everything, and L'Jarius Sneed saying that the toughest part of the week preparing is going through all the media sessions, and today the last one. Here's Chris Jones yesterday about the media at the Super Bowl and all the questions and everything as he was on day 3 of his what would be 4 days of 40-minute media sessions.
Y'all ask so many questions that y'all touch bases on everything, whether it's Taylor Swift, whether it's Travis and his relationship, whether I think Travis love her or not, what's my favorite food, what I don't love, what's Andy Reid's favorite food, what he don't love. Most of this stuff I don't know, you know what I mean? But, you guys come up with interesting questions, and I don't want to give you any ammunition for anything. Anything else.
Guys, come with I'm not trying to give you ammunition. Most of the stuff I don't know. I don't know. By the way, was he asked whether or not Travis Kelce loves Taylor Swift? I don't remember him being asked that, but I would like to know his answer.
It's possible. There is just so much.
The follow-up to that would be, Chris, does Travis love Taylor Swift? Have you heard him say, I love you? Or is he ever on the phone with Taylor in the locker room and just hear him go, me too?
I hope.
You ever
I
do that?
hope he does. I hope that's not what it is. Listen, man.
You ever hear Travis looks around and, me too.
Yeah. You too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I also love juice. Yeah. No, I love.
I said olive oil. We were talking about my favorite character from Popeye.
Orange juice. I said I love juice.
Misunderstood me.
Oh, yeah. No, your album Lover is, I love it. I love your album Lover.
Chris Jones continued, and he was asked about the NFL script. And the Chiefs breaking the script this year and going against what was supposed to happen for the NFL script. And so here is Chris Jones talking about that and, a little Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I read the script. I understand that so fits. I was planning for, it was all a plan for us to lose to Buffalo and having to play them in the playoffs. Yep. Yeah, I got to talk to Roger about not letting the script get out there.
You got out there too soon?
Yeah, way too soon.
So what point will Taylor reveal herself as the CIA operative? Is that halftime?
Probably halftime it's going to happen. Absolutely. Yes, and dippity.
I just want to say yes and dippity from now on.
Yes and dippity.
Yes and dippity. That question, if you didn't hear, I tried to amplify it as much as I could, was at what point does Taylor reveal herself as a CIA operative?
Okay.
Is it at halftime or is it, and he goes, probably halftime. Probably. Yeah. Yes and dippity.
You think she's going to
I love Chris Jones so
I was
much.
holding out the 1% hope that wasn't the question that was asked, but unfortunately we're here.
At what point does she reveal herself as a CIA operative? Halftime?
I think also, let's part this curtain even further. I think asking about Taylor Swift being a psyop in the individual table setting like that is totally fair game.
Okay, yeah,
but asking it of Andy Reid at a presser is a bleep move. That I'm genuinely making that distinction because you can tell Chris Jones, they're talking about the script and everything. Yeah, the door open. Oh, sure, we're having fun here. But yes, and dippity. There was that whole stretch
that so
last year where we found out that it was all, or maybe it was training camp, when they're all doing Jimmy Fallon, or was it Kimmel? I don't know. One of the Jimmys had him sneaking in. Take it easy, roller coaster tycoon.
Fallon.
It was Fallon.
Yep.
They were doing that in some pressers and stuff.
Oh.
I think there's a chance that's been happening. There's been some weird stuff this year.
You think yes-indipity?
I think there's a chance.
Okay.
My actual belief on that one from Chris Jones is that he's been doing so much media that at some point, man, you just start saying words that aren't words. You start saying, yeah, no, there is a script for the NFL, and I'll talk to Roger about it. They get like too early.
Yeah, we were supposed to lose to Buffalo in the regular season so we could play them later on. Yeah, they got the script was let out there too early. Chris Jones also had a magician at his table. Did you
Really?
see the magician?
I've seen so much content from the Super Bowl, and I feel like I've seen none of it.
So this thing was pretty freaky.
Okay.
So the magician handed Chris Jones his phone.
Okay.
And said, "Can you write on the phone
your social security number
and your bank account, and I will make something disappear." Poof, you're broke. Good luck in free agency, sir.
It was Sterling in a top hat.
The Katz brothers already did that trick a while ago.
Oh man, I wish we were at the end of a segment. That is we'll
Let's
just
take a break.
We'll recreate this later on. I look forward to
Mark
reminiscing.
yourself, Dylan.
I look forward to reminiscing about that joke later on after the show. But the magician handed him the phone and said, "Write down a name of somebody that can't be here that you wish was here at the Super Bowl with you." So he's like, just type it in there. Type it in there. Don't show me. Don't show me. He's like, all right, now put the phone face down. He put the phone face down. He goes, okay, now I want you to pretend I'm giving you a pen or a pencil. And Chris goes, okay, and he gives him a pretend pencil, and Chris Jones grabs it, and he goes, now I'm giving you a piece of paper, okay? And he goes, now write on this piece of paper. He didn't give him an actual piece of paper. Just gave him
this fake piece of paper.
Write down the name of that person. Chris Jones is like, okay. And he goes, now wad up that piece of paper.
Fake piece of paper.
So Chris Jones acted like it was wadded up, and he's like, and now throw it to me. Chris Jones threw it to him, and the guy acted like he caught it out of the air, and then opened up his hand, and it was a wadded up piece of paper with the name that Chris Jones wished was there.
I don't know, man.
That's devil-like. I have no idea how some magicians do some of those things.
That one feels like a lot.
Because I saw a guy at Tahoe, a magician. The guy, there was the same magician that was there every year at Tahoe, and he worked Michael Jordan's birthday party. And so then American Century was like, we should get this guy there all the time. And he had Pudge Rodriguez write down something on a card. And then he folded the card. And he said to hide it. And then he cut into an orange. Or lemon. He cut into a lemon. And opened up the lemon was the card that Pudge Rodriguez put in his coat pocket. Inside his coat pocket. This guy wasn't near Pudge. He was on the other side of the table. Pudge wrote it down, folded it, put it into his pocket, and the guy then cuts into a lemon, and the lemon opens up and it's in there. Like I don't know how you could possibly do something like that. No idea.
Either.
How does the guy have a folded up piece of paper with the name?
Did Pudge check his own pocket?
No, Pudge just sat there and went, amazing. Amazing. Amazing.
You ever watch Fool Us with Penn and Teller? They have I've only ever seen like clips of them on YouTube or long chunks of them on YouTube. It's a good watch. They have a magician come out and perform a trick in front of Penn and Teller and an audience, and they go through the trick, and then afterwards Penn and Teller secretly talk to the magician, and I'm guessing he has to tell someone beforehand, whatever. Yeah. They talk to the magician and say, all right, here's how we think you did it. And then they're not saying that out loud unless it's, in some instances, they will like talk around it some. And if they get it, they go, yeah, you got it. We couldn't fool you. But most of the time, Penn and Teller get fooled by the crazy thing that this guest magician has done, and that's, fool us.
Yeah.
Half the time I watch those, I'm like, they got to figure it out. It's no big deal. Magic's not real. We're just living in a world with physics and stuff. And like half the time, if Penn and Teller can't figure it out,
yeah,
I start looking for like a lightning bolt, on your forehead, just to be sure.
The only thing I could think of is when Chris Jones wrote it on the phone, Like there was somebody working with the magician.
Yes, there's
that then,
some sort of...
And then wrote it while people weren't paying attention,
Yes.
and then folded it up and sleight of hand got it to his
But like him
other
even
hand.
like opening his hand to catch the non-existent
Yes.
paper and then having it, like again, that's
And then
that's
it's
sleight of
there.
hand. I know that that's
Right.
part of it.
But to have it folded up then, and Chris Jones opens it up and it's got the name.
Yeah, I guess if
there
someone
on
else is in the scrum and could like
Yeah.
put a piece of paper in his pocket or in his shirt or whatever.
But then you'd have to then see the phone, or is there sort of like a mirroring? So what he writes on the phone, somebody else has
Sure.
that mirrored on the phone. Of
I think
like,
it could like buzz your like Apple Watch or something, but you still got to
Yeah.
get it on the paper and get your paper in your hand.
right. But yeah, so there were magicians there yesterday going around and doing different tricks. I didn't see the magician with luxurious need. I just know that in the background he went, "What the bloop?" It was the F word. I read the F word in the script or in the transcript, and I'm like, okay, what the heck's going on here? And I'm like, oh, the magician. But I couldn't find video of it anywhere, so I'm like, all right. But there was video. I think it was it Harold Kuntz that tweeted out the video of Chris Jones and the magic trick? I think it was.
I'm on it.
So I'd seen in the transcript and listened to Chris Jones, but then like to watch it as well, like him open up is like, you're crazy. You're the devil. Yes, and then he said yes and dippity.
Yes and dippity, baby.
And
It's
then
a long week.
And then I thought, is Frank Clark on that piece of paper? Is Carlos Dunlap? Was it a family member? Was it a
Wow,
relative?
We gotta get to the magician.
They never said what was on the piece of paper.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I can find out who the magician was.
Went back and listened and tried to find out if that, because then he went to another trick or whatever. Like,
So what if we get a hold of the magician and it just said, he's like, oh, it was Frank, I think? And we were like, and like, he had no idea. Like, yeah, just a friend named Frank, I guess.
Some guy named Clark Griswold? I'm not sure. He wrote Sparky. I'm not sure what that means. It's got to be Clark.
He just wrote the word shark, which isn't a name, but I just went with it.
He wrote Bad Blood in the Water.
It makes it even more impressive that we nailed it as the magicians, but...
Here's Juwan Taylor, and of course, Juwan Taylor and Nick Bosa. That's been a conversation since a week ago at this time.
Good God.
This was a little back and forth with Adam Teicher, and Adam didn't ask him the question. He just asked him, how many times have you been asked the question about Nick Bosa and the holding comments?
I've been asked a few times, but like I said, it's a part of the game, and we out there to compete, and I'm looking forward to it.
Seriously, what about him as a player?
He's phenomenal, man. He's a phenomenal player, one of the best in the business. He brings that tenacity to the game, and he plays with great leverage, plays with great hands. He has a high motor as well, so looking forward to it.
He defensive holds a lot. He always goes high hands to the face a lot. That's never called. He's typically offsides, jumping offsides, timing the snap count up a little bit too early. But they're not going to call that because it's Nick Bosa. But that's just something we have to be aware of is how much he cheats.
Wait till I tell you about him off the field.
Oh, my goodness, man. Juwan Taylor hasn't he might have been asked about it a few times, but his media sessions, I haven't seen anything where that's the only time that there's been a reference to it, which is, quite frankly, shocking.
Also,
like legitimately shocking outside of he didn't have a podium, and so he was asked about it on opening night and just said, no comment. It's just part of the game. We're going to go play football.
And that's the only thing I've seen from Donovan Smith also is just like,
right.
I saw that clip of him opening
with,
night.
Aaron Ladd.
And his, like, the look in his eyes was, I think Seth Kaiser made the joke, like, you could see Andy Reid's face flash in front of him right then. Like, nope, no, great players.
Each
Good team.
one that was asked, you could see Andy Reid, and they're looking at him sort of bounce across their eyeballs, and you know what? I'm not going to say anything. It's just part of the game. Oh, we got to go out there and play.
Okay, so I'm watching the magician video. It was Harold tweeted it out.
Yeah,
but
so it was okay. It was
but he says video via NFL Network here. So
okay.
So I am now even further away from.
But I went back and listened. It never does a name come up. He doesn't
watching
mention
him
a
unwrap
name.
it up close.
Yeah, so he's unwrapping a piece of paper, and he's like,
you
"No
can't
way."
see the other side of it.
I know. I looked. I tried to find it.
I mean, the
zoomed
magician
in.
definitely, like, obviously, you just had it fully in his hand when he went up to grab it.
That's right.
He was
He already
covering
had
it
it.
with a couple of fingers there, but
he already
I'm
had
wondering where the paper came from. I want a slightly zoomed out shot of this.
Yeah, I think there was somebody working with him, working alongside with him.
Getting his phone's on some sort of broadcast the screen to somebody else kind of mode.
That's right.
But I want to know if it said Frank Clark on the paper.
Yeah. And then Chris Jones asked, and seriously, he asked him, can he turn like $1 bills into $100 bills for him? And my response was like, yeah, in a month, buddy. It's like, you're a month away from that happening. I think you're fine, guy.
I mean, Dylan nailed it already, but it's true. He found somebody to turn hundreds into ones, and now he needs somebody to turn ones back into 100s.
Tavern. We got $25 on the line that we will be giving away to Johnny's Tavern if you win sports or leisure. Talked with Drew Tranquil, Steve Spagnuolo, Willie Gay, MVS. Am I missing anybody? Drew Tranquil, Willie Gay, MVS, Steve Spagnuolo.
That was it. That was our 4.
We had 4?
We had 4, right?
4, okay. And Craig Stout, there's 5.
That's what it was.
And Bethany Bowman, there's 6.
There's 6.
So we have just been talking to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there you go. Yes. Throughout the show, and we'll see what else pops up along the way. Gerard Cherry played for the Patriots, won 3 Super Bowls with the Patriots, and he was a guest on ESPN last night and was asked who has the advantage in this game.
Kansas City, and that advantage showed itself in the AFC Championship game. The Ravens were not ready for that game. They were blown away by the magnitude of the game. You could tell the Kansas City Chiefs was been here doing that, and it's been a while. I think the 49ers have close to 10 players that were on the roster the last time they were there, so that's a significant number of guys that can speak to the rest of the team on what they need to do and how to prepare and all that good stuff. But KC by far has the advantage. They were just there. You know what I mean? So it's all hat to them.
That to me is an interesting part of it, is where, he's played in 3 of these things. He is part of the last team to win back-to-back Super Bowls with the Patriots. And who's got the advantage in this game? I agree with them from that standpoint and experience and been there, done that. Who's got the advantage? I think it is the Chiefs because they've been a part of this thing before. But as he said, by far, they were just there. They've got the advantage. And I think a number of different reasons why that is. The experience, the dealing with the media, the week of, the staying focused, the maybe having an idea of not spending all of your energy on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the trying to keep it low key. Andy Reid saying, in the podium in the press conference today, saying that, one of the things that he's got to teach that they keep in mind with the players is it being a slow burn. Or maybe that was, who was it? Maybe it was Anthony Sherman this morning.
I was just also mentally doing somebody said something that I'm going to mention here.
There's so much content. It might have been Anthony Sherman that said that the week of is a slow burn, that Andy Reid's like, look, I mean, you've got till Sunday, that you can't get hyped up way out over your skis early on, that, it's a slow burn up into Sunday, and then boom, you're ready to go. And one of the questions, the Andy Reid part came in because he was asked about, that 20 minutes you come out there on the field, do the, national anthem, coin flip, and then you go. Like, there's a lot of other stuff that goes on, and what happens then? And he's like, well, and the question was, experience, do you guys plan or prep for that and go over that? He goes, no, we talk about that because, of course, why wouldn't they? He's like, yeah, we talk about that. And, one of the things that we've talked about is, get off your feet as much as possible and, not to just, be standing there and be caught up in the moment too much that, yeah, you want to play, but, get off your feet and rest a little bit, that it's going to be a while. Okay, the Chiefs know that again. Even from that standpoint, they know that how long it is between you running out there to, all right, we're still out here. This is different. Longer halftime. They talk about that all the time, but I don't remember anybody, mentioning hey, you guys run out of the tunnel, national anthem, coin flip, you go in a regular season game. You guys run out of the tunnel, 20 minutes later they kick off. How is that different? And some of those things that you just got to be prepared for and ready for. That's just not your typical game.
I think I'm going to cite the right person here, and if I get it wrong, it's still a worthy cross-reference because we slandered him yesterday. But I think it was Nick Jacobs on 41 is the Mic with Matt Derrick.
You slandered him yesterday?
I think Mick did, and maybe you did. Did I slander Nick? I don't think that doesn't sound like something I would do. I love Nick. So I'm even remembering how good the smart thing he said on the podcast was. But he said something along the lines of look, when you take a PTO day and you come back and everything's a little weird. It takes a second to settle back in, and you got some extra emails and you're trying to figure out what got missed because I wasn't here yesterday. What do I have to do to get back on track for tomorrow? And I heard him say that and went well, yeah, that's true. So I guess it makes some sense that it would be true on the NFL level also. I mean, we talk, I think, easily justifiably about Andy Reid keeping everybody even keeled throughout the 2-week process. And he's seen what it's like, so he knows how to try to set that pace car, if you will, of not peaking too early or maybe being in a rut come Super Bowl Sunday. But just sort of the baseline of I don't want you to feel overwhelmed or out of sorts or like there's too much going on or not enough going on or that we're on the road but for longer than a usual road game. This is a way bigger deal scheduling wise than playing a playoff game on the road.
Yeah.
You play a playoff game on the road, you play half your games on the road and one in Germany this year. That's kind of old hat. I mean, it's a more important road game, but it's still just a road game for the most part with a little extra media going into conference championship week. But this is a totally different animal. And I think for me, my knee-jerk reaction is to downplay, quote, being there before. Because, again, the Patriots went to a lot of Super Bowls, and the Giants got them twice. More experienced teams lose to better, less experienced teams all the time. It's just something that happens. But I do think I don't think it's being homerific or reaching for an edge to say, like, no, there is obviously a distinct advantage for the team who has gone through this more often and more recently. And for the Chiefs case, like what, 90% of the roster? It's probably not literally that number, but of the genuine starters and high-level role players, it's everybody except for Tranquil and Mike Edwards and Rashee Rice and I guess now Felix getting in the mix. And I mean, we're talking about rookies and like three and a minute who obviously would have been one of those guys. Now he's not going to be there anyway, which is obviously unfortunate. How can that not mean something? Is that a 3-point advantage? No. Like I said in the Bills game, I'd pick the Chiefs in or out of Buffalo, and I would have picked the Ravens in or out of Baltimore. But in this case, I do think it is such a different beast that making sure you're handling that week well, that also matters, and the Chiefs have all the tools to do that. The Niners might not be out of sorts, but I know the Chiefs won't be. That counts for something.
I counted 17 of the 22 starters would be returning from last year's Super Bowl. The 5 that are starting,
I guess both tackles.
Both tackles. You know what? You could throw in Allegretti, so there would be.
He played, I imagine, last year, right? A snap or two.
I'm going to count it just so there would be 6.
He started in Tampa, for what it's worth.
Yeah,
so
true.
I'm going to count Allegretti.
Okay, as a starter.
As a starter, I think.
Okay,
so,
great.
Yeah.
So it would be down to 5 then. So it'd be both tackles and Rashee Rice.
And for what it's worth, Donovan Smith played in Tampa for that Super Bowl. So I guess.
But for the Chiefs, though, just last year, both tackles, Rashee Rice, and then you've got Drew Tranquil and Mike Edwards.
So you have 3 players with 3 impact players with no Super Bowl experience in your starter or main role player rotation.
Mm-hmm. Dana, Jones, Karlaftis, Bolton, Chanel, McDuffie, Snead, Reed, Justin Watson.
Mike Edwards played in 20. What am I doing?
Yeah, I know, but
it's even lower than that. You
Yeah.
take out your Buccaneers and your Chiefs. I mean, that's wild.
Yeah, that's a good point. And Justin Watson playing in 20, and then also, but he played last year as well as a starter. Watson, we talked about Allegretti, Humphrey, Trey Smith, Patrick Mahomes, Isaiah Pacheco, Travis Kelce, MVS.
Juwan Taylor, Rashee Rice, Drew Tranquil, make sure you're good to go. I definitely think Drew Tranquil is.
Yeah.
Juwan Taylor's had some penalties that can happen with nerves potentially exacerbating that, so I'm putting like a little pin thinking about Juwan Taylor, and Rashee Rice is a rookie who seems very comfortable, but he's a rookie.
Even Mike Pennell. Mike Pennell filling in.
Playoff P.
Super Bowl. Super Bowl for Mike Pennell. Turk Wharton, I know he wasn't a part of it last year with the torn ACL, but Super Bowl. And
was he a rookie in?
This is his
19
4th year, right? This is year number 4.
He was definitely there in 20.
So 19 was his first year.
Yeah.
Yeah. 19, 20, 21.
Nope. His rookie year was 20.
Okay. So he has no idea what it's like to play in the Super Bowl. Oh wait,
I don't think that's true.
He played in the Super Bowl.
He sure did.
In 20.
Tershawn Wharton has now played in 9 playoff games.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like you can do that. Again, I'm specifically talking about Super Bowl stuff, so whatever that's worth.
Yeah.
But like, you've got 3 games in this playoff run. Obviously, the Super Bowl last year, and Wharton. I guess Tershawn Wharton didn't play, like you said, last year because of the ACL, and he still has 9 playoff games.
Yeah, he played in 20. He played in the Super Bowl in 20, so he's been a part of it. But again, the main contributors. You're talking about 3 guys on offense or defense that don't have a Super Bowl under their belt.
That's unbelievable.
Rice, Juwan Taylor, and Drew Tranquil.
It's one of those stats that I am currently in the process of going through again mentally and like triple checking or double checking because it doesn't seem like it should be true. Even knowing they were in the Super Bowl last year and that the guys that replaced them were Buccaneers, I completely cognitively understand that. Still seems impossible.
Yeah.
Feels like a made up stat.
Yeah.
Unreal.
It's not, though.
It's not. It's true.
Not made up. It is true. It's not made up. They're playing in their 4th Super Bowl in 5 years. That is also true, and it's spectacular. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling. We got sports or leisure coming up at 1 o'clock. More Zone right after this. All right, hanging out on a Thursday edition of The Zone. We will play some Sports or Leisure coming up at 1 o'clock. $25 to Johnny's Tavern will be given away in Sports or Leisure. Which team has the most pressure on them to win on Sunday? Because I've seen this question answered both ways numerous times, and I find it strange and puzzling that there could be an answer to that question that would include a team that's won 2 Super Bowls in the last 5 years. That would be the one with the most pressure. That the team that has gone 3 decades without winning a Super Bowl and would be on the verge of losing 3 Super Bowls in the last 12 years wouldn't be the team with the most pressure on them. How can a team that is the reigning champions have the most pressure? Unless you're saying pressure to cap off a definitive dynasty. Pressure for Mahomes to be considered the GOAT, so you don't want to be 2-2 in Super Bowls. 3-1 sounds much better in Super Bowls. But I've seen people answer the Chiefs for a number of different reasons, and I just have no clue how it wouldn't be solely on the 49ers to cap off this season, because they've got some big questions on their personnel as well. They've got a cheaper quarterback, but they got some big questions, and there would also be the question if Brock Purdy doesn't play well of, okay, can Kyle Shanahan ever get over the hump if he doesn't have a non-game manager? Sorry. A better quarterback or to some degree. I think the answer is the 49ers, and I think it's 49ers with a bullet, but what do you say, Josh?
Let me tell you a story really quick of a young NFC head coach who wasn't as young, I suppose, by the similar stage, but he was unquestionably one of the greatest offensive minds in football. Frequently had a good roster around him, but there were questions about the greatness of the quarterback options that he had. He had good quarterbacks and certainly made the quarterbacks he had even better players. At times, he had incredible talent around him, but ultimately, he got close, but couldn't win the big one. Then a young Andy Reid, or a middle-aged Andy Reid, got fired from the Philadelphia Eagles after that descended from there.
Oh,
and
that's who it was.
And then he ended up picking up the Kansas City Chiefs and then figuring it out in Act 2. Kyle Shanahan is a burp away from that reputation.
Mm-hmm.
That is right around the corner for him. Unquestionably one of the greatest offensive minds in football. Younger at this point in his career than Andy Reid by the end in Philadelphia. Yeah. I don't think Shanahan's getting canned if they lose this game on Sunday.
He should. I mean, if you don't win this game, I mean, can you even consider yourself a good head coach?
But can you tell me his 3 Super Bowl moments if they lose on Sunday? His 3 Super Bowl moments would be 28-3 as an offensive coordinator. Then it would be
20-10.
Then it would be 20-10 as a head coach with Jimmy Garoppolo playing quarterback for you. And then it would be whatever happens on Sunday if they do, in fact, lose that game. I don't think it would be any more fair to Shanahan than it was fair to Andy Reid at the time. There's a lot of other stuff going on, and eventually with Reid, it ended up being about personnel control and some of those things where he learned his lesson there, and we'll see what Shanahan does. But Shanahan doesn't have a ring. Jed York doesn't have a ring. John Lynch doesn't have a ring. Brock Purdy is a totally different conversation, I think, where it's just figuring out how good he is, how far you can go with him, and all of that. But not only do I think the Niners have more pressure, I think it looks like the Chiefs if you're in Kansas City. Because who cares the pressure on the Niners? That doesn't matter. I want the Chiefs to feel like the pressure's on them. I want them to feel like they have a lot to lose. Because they do. They have a Super Bowl to lose. Travis Kelce could win 2 or 3 more Super Bowls, or he could certainly win 0 more. That is very much on the table because it's still hard to get there. But if you zoom out and you look at it from as even a perspective as you can provide, yeah, I think the pressure's on the Niners because I think there are like 5 people involved with the Niners who should be feeling more pressure this week than anyone on the Chiefs.
Well, and I think part of it is, the Chiefs they've already racked up 2.
Yep.
All right. Last year was so significant because that was the rebuilding year, and they got one when it felt like this is Buffalo's or the Bengals or whoever else's Super Bowl or the Eagles' Super Bowl with their cheaper quarterbacks. This is not one for the Chiefs, and they got it. Yep. So they've got 2 now. So it's not going to look back and go, man, you're 1-3. You got 1 Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers had 1.
Exactly.
And you can't get another one. They've already got the second one. But how fleeting it is that we thought Seattle was going to be there every year.
Yep.
I mean, Seattle with Russell Wilson, cheap Russell. Richard Sherman and Russell Wilson, when they won the Super Bowl, I think were a total $1.5 million against the cap.
Yeah, probably so. That seems about right.
They're just going to be there every single year. And they got to another one.
Their head coach was pretty old at the time, but we thought he might stick around for a little longer.
Right, but you had back-to-back. Like, all right, they can win back-to-back Super Bowls. Yep. And they didn't. They were pretty darn close. Maybe hand the ball off and they win back-to-back Super Bowls, but they didn't win back-to-back Super Bowls. Atlanta and Matt Ryan and that offense was going to be there for a while because they were, a juggernaut. The Rams, with the players that they had. Obviously the Patriots were there for a while, and the AFC's been a little bit different because you've had the Patriots run and now you have the Chiefs run. But the NFC has been there, and they've had a number of teams step up, and it's like, okay, this is the next team that's going to be there. Carolina, with Cam Newton, the MVP, one of the best offenses in the NFL. And they go and score 10 points against the Broncos, a number of turnovers and things like that. They were going to be there, and they weren't. So to think that next year the 49ers are going to be in the same spot, and the year after that, because they've been there the last couple of years, well, you saw last year how difficult it is, and one play can change everything when Brock Purdy, has to have Tommy John after attempting a throw. It can happen that quick. The Chiefs have the pressure of capping off a dynasty and winning back-to-back. The 49ers have a pressure of breaking a 30-year drought.
time, free delivery, and better value. Go to GuaranteedFoods.com. You're into sports, but nothing wrong with a little leisure time. Why not both?
You're going to have a heart attack by the time you're 40 if you don't learn to relax.
It's time for sports or leisure on The Zone with Jason Anderson.
All right, time for a little sports or leisure presented by Johnny's Tavern. $25 to Johnny's Tavern on the line. Get a sports question, get a leisure question, get them both right, you win. Get either of them wrong, you lose. Sorry about that, but the question out there available for someone to call in and request. We give out the right answer when it's answered correctly, or we have simply run out of time to play. That's typically right around 2 o'clock. Really before that, let's be honest.
Ideally, it's before that.
Yes, that's right. There's another show that comes on right after ours, and he's hanging out at the Super Bowl. He's in Vegas. He's got guests on guests on guests. A hat on a hat is what he's rocking today there in Vegas is Soren Petro. But it is presented by Johnny's Tavern, the best sports bar in Kansas City. 10 locations, Lawrence and Topeka, and the home of the discount you get depending on how many points your hometown football team scores on Sunday. The Monday after that game, dine-in only, specialty New York-style pizza. You get that percentage off. Hopefully, it's 30% off or more. 31%, 50% off. Let's go. Let's go. 50% off at Johnny's Tavern. That is dine-in only, depending on how many points the Chiefs score this weekend. 913-381-810. That is the phone number to call up and play. 913-381-810. Categories on the sports side, very simple, very direct, very straightforward. Chiefs Super Bowl and NFL Super Bowl. There you go. Those are the categories. Chiefs Super Bowl questions and then general NFL Super Bowl questions. What about on the leisure side, Josh?
We've got Vegas, baby. Questions about Las Vegas pertaining to the city in general, not necessarily the sports happening there this week. That's what the leisure side's for. Then we have What Could It IMDb, which also largely pertains to Vegas, but I'll let you figure that out when we get there. And, of course, the pun name game.
There we go.
Jason's got 2. I got 3.
We got
Should
5.
be enough for you to get 5 on some Johnny's gift cards.
All right. 913-381-810. I'm ready to go. Josh, you ready to play?
I'm ready to play. Dylan, you ready to play?
Let's do it.
Let's go. Yeah. That sounds like he's ready to play to me.
Super Bowl energy.
Yeah. So I don't know. That seems like he was pumped. All right. 913-381-810. To the phone lines we go. We find Sean leading us off here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Sean, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with?
First off again today. Yes.
Leading us off, man. What do you say?
Dude, tonight's the night. I get to find out if I win 140 for Lamar Jackson.
There you go. Yeah, nice. I'm not going to win as much for Lamar Jackson winning the MVP, but I will win some money, not the triple digits. Yeah. But you know what? There will be whatever I get in the bank account will go right back into the Super Bowl. So that's what it'll do. All right, Chiefs Super Bowl or NFL Super Bowl?
Let's go Chiefs Super Bowl.
Chiefs Super Bowl. Isaiah Pacheco now has 4 rushing touchdowns in the playoffs / Super Bowl, so postseason. That's the 3rd most rushing touchdowns in Chiefs postseason history. Which 2 players have more rushing touchdowns than Isaiah Pacheco?
And you said how many?
He's got 4, and that is the 3rd most.
4. Okay, I missed the number.
Yeah, you're good. Who are the 2 players in Chiefs history that have more than 4 rushing touchdowns?
Oh, in playoff history.
Mm-hmm.
Are they both recent?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to start first one. I don't know. I don't even care if I get it right.
I do.
Let's try Marcus Allen.
Marcus Allen is incorrect. Sean, thank God you didn't care if you got it right or not. So, you know, you can't even be disappointed,
And thank goodness
man.
you asked if it was recent, because, I mean, recent's subjective, I guess.
That's true. And you know what? You may not get $25 to Johnny's Tavern, but however much money you're going to win by Lamar Jackson being the MVP, you'll
It's
get
a lot
that
of
tonight.
pizza, so.
Unless there's some crazy change, and all of a sudden it's like, you know what? Patrick Mahomes is the MVP.
Yeah, if
We've
they ask
decided-
for a revote after the playoffs.
Yeah, maybe they will. But congratulations to Lamar Jackson. He will be in attendance for both his MVP awards. Mahomes still only has one of those. So Lamar Jackson is up 2-1 on Mahomes, winning MVPs in attendance. Let's
never
go
take that away from him.
Never. Let's go to Lindsay next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Lindsay, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with?
I want to start with sports. I'll do the NFL Super Bowl, please.
NFL Super Bowl for you. Okay, so Patrick Mahomes has 73 completions in his Super Bowl career in the first 3 games of his Super Bowls. The third most completions for a player's first 3 Super Bowls. Name either of the 2 players in front of him with more than 73 completions in their first 3 Super Bowls. So, first of all, they'd have to have played in 3 Super Bowls.
Right.
But there are 2 players ahead of him. Name either.
Brady, one of them?
Brady was not one of them, Lindsay.
Damn.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Not Brady. Hey, Lindsay, you too, man. I appreciate it. 913-3810810. So we got Marcus Allen guest on a Chiefs one, and we got Tom Brady guest on that one. And we continue to head back to the phone lines, and we bring in Charles next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Charles, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with?
Let's do leisure.
And what category do you like?
Run them for me one more time.
We got Vegas. We've got the IMDb game, largely Vegas-based, and the pun name game.
Let's do Vegas.
You've seen the sign that welcomes you to the city. What is the exact phrasing on the famous sign that welcomes you into that part of the country?
What happens beyond this point stays beyond this point?
That's really close. Unfortunately, I would not have given it to you, but you pretty much nailed it.
Sweet.
They actually knocked that one down. The one that they have now says, "Please don't climb the sphere."
And then the one right after it says "too late."
Welcome to fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada.
There you go. You got it.
Hey.
I thought you might leave Nevada off. Was my biggest concern there.
Who would do that?
Down there. It's down there in the little subtext.
Even Travis Kelce got the Nevada in Las Vegas, Nevada. In case there was another Vegas.
That's
Las Vegas, France,
Nevada, Missouri.
Nevada.
Do they have casinos there? I don't think so.
Nevada, because Missouri always gets changed to Missouri, so Nevada. On to the sports side, we got Chiefs Super Bowl, we got NFL Super Bowl.
Let's do the NFL Super Bowl.
All right, we got one out there already, or we have fresh ones?
Yeah, let's get a fresh one.
All right, straight and forward. Who was the last non-quarterback Super Bowl MVP?
Last non-quarterback Super Bowl MVP. Holy crud.
It was not Holy Crud. No. This is somewhat distant relative. Holy crap.
Non-quarterback MVP.
Non-QB MVP. The most recent one. Not counting Kelce this year.
Super Bowl MVP, right?
Super Bowl MVP, that's right.
Until it's Christian McCaffrey on Sunday.
Whoa!
I got to balance it out, man. We've covered this. The Chiefs don't win if we don't doubt them a little.
That's a good point.
I'm just doing my
part. I'll let you do that.
Wasn't that Cooper Kupp with the Rams?
It was Cooper
There
Kupp
you
with the
go.
Rams. Nice job. We'll put you on hold. Charles, get your information. Congratulations. Well done.
Super duper.
Bowl.
913-381-0810.
Super duper bowl.
Avery next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Avery, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with?
Hey, boys.
What's up?
I'll start with Super Bowl General.
Super Bowl General, the one out there, or do you want a fresh one?
I'll freshen it up.
Oh, good for you. I like that. Freshen it up. Okay. Okay. All right. Tom Brady has won 7 Super Bowls, but he only
True. Nailed it. All right. I'll move on to leisure. I'll do IMDb, LV.
Tom Brady has 7 Super Bowls, but only 5 Super Bowl MVPs. Who are the 2 players that were named Super Bowl MVP instead of Tom Brady?
Julian Edelman.
Yes. Before that game, he was known as Edelboy. Killed
and
him.
then Deion Branch.
Yeah, that's right, Deion Branch. I thought Edelman would be, well, both of them could be different, because if you remember early on, it's like Deion Branch. But then people remember that Edelman was the MVP. So, you got to give it to, I don't know who threw them the football. I'm not sure.
I mean, that would feel silly.
Must have been a lot of halfback passes that went their way. All right, on to the leisure side.
You still want
I'll do,
IMDb LV? I like that. I'm going to take that from you.
Yes.
Okay, let's
You
do
may have
that. IMDb LV. In Las Vegas, two best friends, a Vegas executive and a mafia enforcer, compete for a gambling empire and a fast-living, fast-loving socialite.
Casino?
Casino, indeed. All sevens
job.
for you, Avery.
There you go.
Congratulations.
I see what you
Hey, I'm
did.
off the schneid. It's been a while.
Yeah, I
guys.
know. You know,
Wow.
Well, what happens in Johnny stays in Johnny, so you can get the gift card from here and then keep it there.
There you go. Avery, appreciate it. Well done. Put you on hold. Get your information.
Super duper.
Here we go. Still doesn't love Lebo, though.
A couple wins in the
you know what?
system.
But last week, it was Lebo's birthday.
Yeah.
And Avery did not say that he loved Lebo last week. And that was, I would say, rude, you know?
I would say it ruined Lebo's birthday.
That's actually what Lebo said.
Yeah.
You could say it for him, but he actually said it. Those were his words out of his mouth.
And it was. I mean, seeing him weep was tough, but
his mouth to Avery's ears.
That is an image I'd like to go ahead and give back to you, so I don't have to think about it again.
Ben, next up on Sports Radio 810. Ben, sports or leisure? What side do you want to start with?
Let's start with some leisure Las Vegas questions.
You want
Leisure,
the Vegas trivia?
Las Vegas.
Excellent.
Yes, Vegas trivia.
Taking its name from a local gambling hall, Sam's Town was the second album dropped by what Las Vegas alt-rock band best known for their song about being Sir Optimistic?
The Cure?
What was that last part? Sir Optimistic?
Best known for their song about being Sir Optimistic. That's it.
Oh, the Killers.
Can't say Mr. Optimistic, can't say Sir Brightside, but that is indeed correct. They should be doing the halftime show, damn it!
Should they?
Yes.
Why? Because it's in Vegas?
Because it's in Vegas, and they're great. They've got enough hits. They would be electric.
Don't you think Taylor Swift should be doing that?
I mean, that would have worked out pretty well. But
what if she was? All right.
Maybe she still will.
Who knows? I mean, at halftime, Chris Jones says she's going to reveal herself as a CIA operative. So it's going to happen eventually. Yeah. All right, Ben, sports side, Chiefs Super Bowl or NFL Super Bowl?
Let's go. What's the Chiefs Super Bowl? Isn't there already one out there? What was that one?
There is one. The question that's out there, for those that may not have heard it, Isaiah Pacheco now has 4 rushing touchdowns in the postseason and Super Bowl. It's the third most rushing touchdowns in Chiefs postseason history. What two players have more than Isaiah Pacheco?
Yeah, can I get a new one?
Absolutely, yes.
I know
you can.
one of them.
Yeah. Let's go with this one. Chiefs matching up with the 49ers yet again. After Tyreek Hill, which player led the Chiefs in receiving yards in Super Bowl 54? Tyreek Hill had 115. He had a lot of them on one play. It was a jet, and then they chipped, and then they stung him with a wasp, and held him, of course.
I mean, the obvious answer is out there, somebody's boyfriend, but that seems like a little bit too obvious. We'll go Kelsey.
It was too obvious.
Oh!
It was too obvious. It was not Kelsey. Damn it. We will put you on. No, we won't.
Put you on hold. We'll hang up on you.
We'll put you on a 1-week hold.
Sorry.
And hopefully next week you can get it right. Thank you, Ben. Appreciate it. 913-381-810 is the phone number.
Can I give the Travis Kelce stat line from that game since you've rolled him out?
Yeah, I don't have any Travis Kelce things in here.
6 for 43 and a touchdown. That really does feel like a very quiet game by playoff Travis Kelce standards.
It does.
It worked out okay.
Even with the touchdown.
The touchdown, I'm happy to have the touchdown in the equation.
Right, yeah. Pulled him within 3. In that touchdown. It was after he got tackled in the end zone, which was a terrible call. How do you call pass interference at that point in the game in the end zone when the guy tackles Travis Kelce in the end zone? Travis Kelce turns around, looks for the ball. The guy just wraps him up and takes him to the ground. It's questionable at best, 50-50. But at that point in the Super, you don't want the refs deciding the game.
I just can't believe that Jonathan Baldwin was second receiving. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to.
Way to give it away.
Sorry.
Andrew next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Andrew, sports or leisure? What side do you want to start with?
What was the categories on leisure?
Las Vegas trivia, what could it IMDb, largely LV, and the pun name game.
Let's go IMDb.
3 buddies wake up from a bachelor party in Las Vegas with no memory of the previous night and the bachelor missing. I'm going to stop reading it. Yeah, I thought that. Yeah, it felt like the closest to a free space I had in the IMDb LV section. But
yeah, that was a free space.
There was half of a description left there that I just
decided.
Oh,
really? You needed more?
No, I didn't need more, but it's what IMDb had, Jason.
3 friends wake up the day after a bachelor party in Vegas with no recollection of the night
really
before.
should have. I know what
And
I
there's
meant.
a tiger in the room, and
I did
they're
take
looking
that-
for
I
a
think
dog.
yeah.
And there's a baby.
Let me cook.
And a stripper. All right, on to the sports side. Chiefs Super Bowl and NFL General Super Bowl.
Let's go Chiefs Super Bowl.
All right, we got a question out there. We got 2 questions out there, actually, and then we have some fresh ones. What do you say?
I'll go with a fresh one.
All right, very good. All right, I'm going to have to ask a different one now because that one ties into a known that wasn't answered already.
Is it Bobby Scipio one?
Yeah, and name any player that never caught a touchdown in the Super Bowl that played for the Chiefs. Bobby Scipio would be
I
one
guess
of
I
the
did give away
1,000.
an answer, too.
One
Yeah,
of the
John Bolton.
thousands of them. Man. You know what? I'm going to do it. Doesn't matter. There are 3 players in the Super Bowl for the Chiefs to gain at least 100 yards, either rushing or receiving. Name 2 of the 3 players to have at least 100 yards rushing or receiving in a Super Bowl game for the Chiefs.
2. They have to be current, or is it just any time they were playing for the Chiefs?
Yep, anytime they played for the Chiefs, had at least 100 yards rushing or receiving in the specific Super Bowl. Not just postseason, but a Super Bowl game.
Well, I'll say Tyreek Hill.
Yes, that's why I was wondering if I was going to ask that question because I had just talked about how, Tyreek had 115 in that game, and I'm like, hey, you jackass. Anyway, name one of the other 2.
Let's say. I think both my guesses are pretty good. I need. Let's go Damian Williams.
That's correct. Damian Williams with 100 rushing yards. Well done. The other one, want to throw a dart? You said you had both guesses that were pretty. Pacheco didn't get to 100. It's actually Travis Kelce against the Bucs.
Oh.
Yes, Kelce, Damian Williams, and Tyreek Hill are the different 100-yard rushers / receivers. That's a winner, right? Because he's no longer hungover.
Right. You got through your hangover. You got through your
right.
2 good guesses, and now you're going to go to Johnny's.
That's exactly right. We'll put you on hold, Andrew. Congratulations. Well done.
Go Chiefs.
There you go. 913-381-0810. Let's take a quick timeout. We'll come back. We'll continue playing some sports or leisure presented by Johnny's Tavern. More right after this. Little sports or leisure presented by Johnny's Tavern. $25 for Johnny's Tavern we're giving away. Don't forget, on Monday after the Super Bowl, you can head to Johnny's Tavern and dine in only. Enjoy percentage off whatever the Chiefs score on a dine-in specialty 18-inch New York-style pizza. That is at Johnny's Tavern. 10 locations, including Lawrence and Topeka. All right, so we've got on the sports side, Chiefs Super Bowl and NFL Super Bowl. Those are the two categories. Want to reset what the categories are on the leisure side, Josh.
Yes, we have Vegas trivia for Vegas, baby. And then what could it IMDb LV? Shout out to Avery. We've got the IMDb descriptions of movies that are either set in or have a particular connection to Las Vegas. And then, of course, the pun name game.
There we go. All right, 913-381-0810 to the phone lines we go. Sagan next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Sagan, go right ahead. Sports or leisure?
Sports.
All right, we've got Chiefs Super Bowl and NFL Super Bowl. Which category?
I'll take NFL Super Bowl.
All right, NFL Super Bowl for you. We have a question out there already, or we have some fresh ones? Yeah.
Give me a fresh one.
All right, very good. There are 3 quarterbacks who have started at least 3 Super Bowls without a loss. Who are they?
So they've started a Super Bowl. They've never had a Super Bowl loss?
At least 3 Super Bowls they've started. They have played in at least 3 Super Bowls, and they have never lost a Super Bowl. Josh is familiar with one.
Yeah, I know one of them pretty well.
Troy Aikman.
That's one of them. That's one of them.
Man, 3 Super Bowls. I'm trying to think about guys that have played in 3 Super Bowls and haven't played in more.
Well, it's at least 3, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least 3 Super Bowls, so it might be more. Troy Aikman only played in 3.
So they could have played in more Super Bowls.
Absolutely, just as long as they have at least 3 without a loss.
Oh.
Yep, at least 3 without a loss.
Tom Brady.
No, it is not Tom
Brady.
Brady.
I thought you
without
said
a loss.
they could have played in more Super Bowls.
Yeah, but without a loss.
They won 3.
No, without a loss though. Haven't lost a Super Bowl.
Oh man, you just confused me, man. Sorry.
Without a loss.
That is.
It's Super Bowls without a loss. Super Bowls without a loss. Yeah. Have not lost the Super Bowl because Patrick will not ever be in this category, unfortunately, and neither will Tom.
I can
Brady.
be in denial about it though, so
that's fine. Okay. Let's go to Matt next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Matt, sports or leisure? What side do you want to start with?
Sports.
Yep.
Chiefs. I'll take that NFL question, Super Bowl question.
All right, very good. Who are the other 2 quarterbacks to have at least 3 Super Bowl starts with nary a loss on their record?
Joe Montana.
That's one of them.
And I'm guessing Terry Bradshaw.
Terry Bradshaw.
Yep, that's also right with that.
Terry Bradshaw. Nice job. Joe Montana, Terry Bradshaw, and Troy Aikman. No Super Bowl losses with at least 3 starts.
Wild.
Yeah. Troy being one of them.
Are those the only guys?
Those are the only ones. Yep, absolutely. Everyone else that's had at least 3 Super Bowl starts has at least 1 loss.
I was thinking Earl Morrall, and that was my other guess, and I was like, nope.
Yeah, no, not at all. On to leisure with Josh.
We got Vegas-based movies, and the pun name game. What do you like?
Vegas-based movies.
All right. When one of their own is kidnapped by an angry gangster, 3 buddies must track down Mr. Chow, who's escaped from prison and is on the run.
Hangover.
Anything else you want to in there?
Hangover.
But
The Hangover.
well, I mean,
yeah,
it's
you built the right but wrong direction.
Yeah,
there.
you're going.
What? Can I have the question again? What the
yes.
hell am I missing?
When one of their own is kidnapped by an angry gangster, 3 buddies must track down Mr. Chow, who's escaped from prison and is on the run.
And what am I supposed to answer? The movie?
Uh-huh.
It's
Yep.
Which movie?
Yep.
It's not The Hangover.
Well, The Hangover was guessed earlier correctly.
Yep, for a different
but
description.
this does bear a lot of similarities.
This is gonna be so obvious.
I think there are people probably yelling at the radio right
Yeah.
now. But that's
You're toying
typical.
with me.
But that's typical with the show. There's probably plenty of people yelling at me.
You've got a pretty good start to first 2/3 of the guess with The Hangover.
2/3. That's yeah.
The Hangover. The Hangover Part 2?
Oh, damn it!
It's Part 3!
Matt, thank you.
You gave me a lot of gruff earlier for The Hangover being too obvious. You gotta let me cook.
You had to go obvious to set up that one.
There's a whole domino
So the
effect
earlier
here.
one-
So we've got one still out
Poor
there.
Matt.
I'm sorry, it's the game. It's just the game.
I know.
If it was called call in and get $25 at Johnny's, we would get through the segment a lot easier.
That's what Mick calls it.
It sure is, but now Mick knows not everybody wins.
Mick says your game is everybody wins. Oh yeah. Your game is everybody gets
Ooh,
punched
I
in the
got
face.
Mick
Keep talking.
too.
Yeah, you did. Well, 3. Let's go to Raymond next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Raymond, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with?
I want to talk about the sports NFL.
Yeah, go right ahead. Which
NFL,
question?
The NFL, no, the category, the NFL Super Bowl.
Yeah. Okay. So we have one question that is out there with the completions, and we also have some fresh categories too, or fresh questions in that category.
Okay, shoot.
Do you want the one that's out there, or you like a fresh one? I can ask you
the
one.
freshman.
Okay, very good. Okay, so let's go this route. Name 3 of the 4 quarterbacks to have at least 3 Super Bowl losses.
Tom Brady,
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Mahomes.
No, 3 Super Bowl losses.
No, Tom Brady, and then the other one is Aaron Rodgers.
It is not. It's not A-Rod. Not A-Ron. Raymond, thank you, man. I appreciate it. So there are 3 others out there. We would need 2 for that particular question that is out there and available for somebody to call in and request if they know the answer to it. Let's go to Ryan next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Ryan, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with?
I'll go leisure.
Do you want the question that's out there? Do you know what category you want? Do you want a fresh one?
I'm sorry.
I think if your radio's up, maybe we're getting that right now. Okay.
I
So
had to get up Bluetooth. I'm good now.
okay, I get it.
Great.
So we have the categories that are out there and one question that's already out there. Do you want the movie that's out there now? Do you want a fresh one, different category?
Let's go to the movie.
Okay. Do you want the last one or the next one? Okay.
The
last one. The last
third
one.
most recent one, or
The last one is when one of their own is kidnapped by an angry gangster. 3 buddies must track down Mr. Chow, who has escaped from prison and is on the run.
That's The Hangover 3?
That's The Hangover 3!
Hangover 3. Nice job. Well done. The Hangover 3.
Good work.
All right, on to the sports side. We got Chiefs Super Bowl. We got NFL Super Bowl.
We'll go Chiefs Super Bowl.
Okay, so do we have a question out there? Well, we do have a question out there already, and we have 2 out there, and we have some fresh ones. I can ask both of the ones that are out there again if you want.
Sure, ask both of them that are out there.
All right. One of the questions is Pacheco has 4 rushing touchdowns in the postseason. It's the 3rd most rushing touchdowns in Chiefs postseason history. Which 2 players have more than Pacheco? And the other one is after Tyreek Hill's 100 and whatever yards against the 49ers in Super Bowl 54, what player led the Chiefs in receiving in that Super Bowl 54 game against the 49ers? Those are the 2 that are out there, but we have some fresh ones as well.
Was it Sammy Watkins?
Sammy Watkins is correct. Sammy Watkins with 98 yards receiving in that game after Tyreek Hill. That's a winner, right? Because that was Hangover 3,
That's
and
right.
then Sammy Watkins. Nice job. Well done. We will put you on hold, Ryan.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. 913-381-0810. Let's go to Lauren. Next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Lauren, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with?
I'll go ahead and start with sports.
All right. We've got Chiefs Super Bowl and NFL Super Bowl.
I'll take that Chiefs Super Bowl question about the rushing touchdowns.
Yes. Who are the 2 players that have more rushing touchdowns in the postseason / Super Bowl than Isaiah Pacheco?
That have more. So Damian Williams.
Yep, he's got the most at 6.
And
is this isn't really a trick question, Josh, is it? Yeah,
not a trick
I wouldn't
question.
think so.
so how many does?
Pacheco's
everyone
got
is
4
tied with Damian Williams.
No, Pacheco's got 4. Damian Williams has 6, and there's somebody who has 5 rushing touchdowns in the postseason / Super Bowl. Has a Super Bowl rushing touchdown too. What say you? Marcus Allen was guest earlier. I should say that.
Yeah.
So just.
I did. I heard that. I guess I misunderstood the question a little bit.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was. Never mind. I won't even say it. I was thinking Mahomes because he has that 1 rushing touchdown, but no. So
I mean, you can say it if you want to.
More than 6.
You can say it if you want to.
More than
4.
More than 4.
Yeah, you can say it if you want to. I mean, that's your choice.
More than 4.
Well, I don't want to be wrong. So
that makes sense.
Well,
that
I mean,
makes sense,
but
sure.
you could say it if you want to, though.
I understand not wanting to be wrong.
I wouldn't want to be wrong either, but I'd still say it.
Yeah.
Lauren?
Okay.
In the entirety of the playoffs, not just the Super Bowl, but the playoffs.
I thought it was just Super Bowl.
No, postseason and Super Bowl. Yeah, both of these, they all have a rushing touchdown in the Super Bowl, at least one. But you didn't want to say, but you are.
It still is Mahomes.
It's Mahomes. It's Patrick Mahomes. Damn it! It is Patrick.
That was going to be a tough one.
Lavon Mahomes. That's why I said it. Not really a trick question. He's got 5 rushing touchdowns in the postseason and the Super Bowl.
I thought you meant. I thought it was in Super Bowls, but it was playoffs. My bad. Okay,
No. You're good. They all happen to have a Super Bowl rushing touchdown. Anyway, that's a winner.
A winner.
Right? That's a winner. Laura, put you on hold and get information. Congratulations. Well done.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yes, that's right. $25 heading your way to Johnny's Tavern. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. Continue. More Zone next. jerk move. That's a Dylan move.
That's a real Dylan move.
What a real Dylan move.
I don't feel so bad about actually giving away that win last, half an effort last caller.
Questions we did not get answers to. Mahomes, 73 completions in the Super Bowl career in the first 3 games, third most completions for a player's first 3 Super Bowls. The 2 players that had more, Kurt Warner and Peyton Manning. And then I believe I got the answers to the other questions that were out there for the Chiefs with Damian Williams, Travis Kelce. Yeah, any that you did not get answers to on yours there, fella?
Nope, I'm all good. I got one I'm really excited to ask next week for people who are listening this week, but that's it.
I got one more. Sorry. Name 3 of the 4 quarterbacks to have at least 3 Super Bowl losses.
Yeah.
Tom Brady, Jim Kelly, John Elway, and Fran Tarkenton. 3 Super Bowl losses. Jim Kelly was it's 4.
Yeah.
Consecutively. So
rather famously.
Yes.
So I think that's
for sure.
I think that's fair.
For sure. We had Steve Spagnuolo on the show today, Drew Tranquil, Willie Gay, MVS. So that was certainly fun. Coming up, Soren Petro live from Vegas and Radio Row. Mike Golick. Alex Smith is going to be on with Soren. I hope they talk about game managers with Alex Smith. And then Kellen Winslow.
Nice.
Senior.
Okay, yeah.
And whoever else stops by, because when it comes to Radio Row, you never really know. He's up next. Enjoy it right here on Sports Radio 810.